that I can. Okay. We're back. The third meeting with several flat earthers and quantum physicist Spiros Michalakis. This is the third time, which I believe is a pattern.
It's a pattern. There's a charm.
So we're back. Spiros is also a spokesperson for science at Caltech and many other things. I'm not going to give you a full bio because we have other priorities. But we met because you were making statements about flat Earth in a documentary and in an article in the media. And we have several things we wanted to share with you and get your thoughts and have a free-flowing conversation. But first, I was wondering, you sent me a really nice email between the last time we saw each other. And it's reflected to me that maybe, you can confirm this, that our meetings had affected your thoughts on flat earthers. And so that maybe your initial thoughts that you shared in the documentary that you spoke in and the article, that maybe somehow they had changed a little or a lot. And it would be really cool if you want to talk about that so people can hear that.
Yeah. So some of the things that I talked about both in the documentary Behind the Curve, but also an article I wrote for a Canadian newspaper called Maclean's. They started from a place of, I don't know who the people are, right? Some of the people, I don't know, if you even know who everyone is in this community. But I was willing to give the benefit of the doubt, not just for the theory, right? Because honestly, it would take a lot for me, right, to change my mind.
Yeah.
But about the people, I actually cared about meeting you, right? Getting to know you, getting to see what extraordinary circumstances had brought you to this point, right? And that you would want to discuss like the flat earth also with somebody who is a scientist, to look for evidence together. And this is not something I mean, even before I saw the documentary myself, I didn't know that a big part of your community was actually doing experiments, right, that you're doing to try to see, all right, is the earth flat? Like, why are we seeing like flatness? If there is some curvature, what do you expect to see? And so on and so forth. So I found that fascinating, that you're all very, very intelligent, very good people. Poncho, you
Hello.
too.
Thank
and
you.
And I want to get to know you better, right? And it wasn't even in the end like about whether the earth is flat or any other like, big idea or something that science thinks already we figured out, right? But to me, it was more about understanding why was this important to you, to this community, right? Why this specific question? Was there a larger pattern? Do you care about other deep questions, right? Exactly, and it seems like that you do. But I wanted to know what is your relationship with scientists, with people that are professionals in a way, right? That they go out there and they grow up in science and they get degrees and then we go through this whole process of figuring out what is going on out there. But also to see, what the relationship you have with each other, right? One of the things that I remember in the documentary that struck me was that Mark Sargent, one of the founders of this new movement, new community, like one of the more popular, right? Faces. He says at some point in the documentary when he's asked like, well, so who do you trust? Right? And to me, I think this is a key question for your community, right? Who do you trust? Because it seems to be about trust. It's not really about whether the earth is flat or not. I said that a few times before. If we're honest with ourselves, we don't care, right? Like, we're not going to fall off the edge day-to-day living when you're driving your car, when you're going to work. You're not like, oh, I'm sensing the flatness, or I'm starting to curve, off like the building or something because it's curved. It's more about what it means if somebody has lied to you, right? If somebody had told you, like, this is the truth. What if this is not true? What else is, are you being lied to about, right? And how do you develop a relationship of trust with others when you cannot check everything all the time? And is this even a good thing to do, right? If you lose the ability to trust others, even though you don't really know them, or you maybe even never met them, right? Like thinking, for example, you know, we could go and get some drink from water, right, from this house, and I don't know what is in the water. I have to trust somebody who tells me like it's clean enough, right? I don't know if any one of you have been like, you all have water right testing machines where you already know like minerality, like there's heavy minerals in there or whatever. You're just drinking the water. You'd be using some filter or something, saying like, no, I'm hoping for the best, and this may have a much bigger impact in your day-to-day life, right? If 5 years from now you realize you're getting cancer or like you're getting sick because of what is in the water. But maybe you're like, well, no, I don't, I cannot trust them or I don't care much about that, right? So the thing that Mark said in the documentary that gave me pause was that despite all these friends he had made through the community, right? And he genuinely thanked the community in the first conference that the society had for being there, how it meant so much to him, right? That you could all come together. It was completely in contrast to what he said when he was asked, who do you trust? And he said, no one. And I saw him like there with his mom, right? I saw him there with, the other lady, the redhead one, right? And trying to Patricia, right? Who's also wonderful and everything. And she's like, I felt as if he had removed himself from the universe, right? He said, well, no, I can only trust myself, right? Yeah. And to me, it kind of comes down to that, right? How you have a wonderful community. This is fun. This is why I keep coming back also, right? So how can it be that we can trust each other? And you had told me last time, well, I trust you for certain things and so on and so forth. But I would disagree. I think when you become friends with someone, right, even if they have like an opposing point of view in something to consider like important to you, and this is what I was talking about also in the McLean's article I wrote, you end up trusting this person with your life. I think it happens in the military all the time, or people go out there, they come from completely different backgrounds, right? They hate each other in every other respect, politically, religiously, whatever their opinions may be. But when it comes to sticking by each other, right? That sense of honor and integrity, right? That friendship that develops under these situations, they would like sacrifice themselves for that person.
And you have a feeling that flat earthers wouldn't be able to have that kind of teamwork?
No, I have a feeling that you do. Yours is here already.
Yeah.
I see it here. You spend so much time, money, and energy to come together.
Yeah, it's some people, we love it, we want to do it. People have put a lot into this, facilitating this. I just want to say, like, working people have put aside their time and their children to be able to have these conversations. I just want to respond to what you're saying. It's so, I guess I kind of want to answer the same question myself to let you know what it's meant for me, and then maybe like ask a few people if everybody wants to respond, because
I would like to hear also. So how does everyone feel about this, right? Do you feel like you can trust each other? To what extent, are you friends? Are you just friends because you all have a similar belief with respect to this specific question, is the earth flat or not? And why are you all here? Why are you part of this?
I mean, I'll just answer quickly, and then I think everybody can have a minute to answer. I am so enamored with the mystery that I've come upon with the flat earth, and I do care that it's flat. For me, it's not just anything. It's everything. It's every aspect of it, and figuring out the reality of our physical world is a big part of that. Because I feel like it probably leads to so much. But in terms of trust, I don't feel like I mistrust people at all. I feel like I don't believe everything on TV, but I don't think I should. I don't think that's an unhealthy. Like I think that trust is healthy, and being a little streetwise is healthy. And streetwise applied to not necessarily when you're on the street. Like, people can deceive. It's a free market. People will take advantage if they can sometimes. And so it's good to be wary of that. But I think that through this idea of flat Earth, I have come to have so many different relationships that mean so much to me, and they're many very different. And then it's like, it's not necessarily because we believe it's flat Earth, but it's because I like that person or not. And but anyway, I want everybody to have a chance. But I also want to say it's so awesome to be able to have these conversations with you. I don't know of other scientists who are doing this, but I hope that more and more of them do it, because it's really great for everybody, I think.
I have to say that I've been asked over the past month several times by different scientists, all of very high caliber, right? Why do I do this? Because their first, I'll be honest with you, the first reaction is when I discuss that I actually come and I meet with you, right? And we talk. And then their facial expressions, the very first, you get to see a human being, like, this very first second, exactly their true reaction, versus when they try to compose themselves and try to be more like, more empathetic, or more like try to, right? Oh, I'm somebody and all that stuff. And I agree, right? Either there is something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with me, I don't know. But I do believe that, and as I wrote in the email to you, that I don't like people who, because they're in a position of power, temporarily, or sometimes, like, because maybe they're even right, okay? It doesn't matter to me when they tell other people, like, you're stupid, you're wrong, right? They forget where they were before they got where they were. Right? They forgot that there was a person there who believed in them, okay, who believed in who they were. Whether they had the right ideas at the time, or they were actually stupid about certain things, right, whatever, but they had someone who believed in them and said, there is value in you, and it's not just who you are right now, it's who you can be and what you can do for the rest of the world and for yourself, right? And when you diminish people, not only do you destroy who they are now, you destroy all the good they could do in the world, like, for the rest of their lives, right? And I think this is, in my opinion, what evil is. It's almost like at the foundation, right, of my morality, that this is what evil is. And it doesn't have to be, like, you don't even have to be, like, an evil genius to do that, right? It's just, like, a word that is dismissive, or that, like, you call somebody, like, ugly, stupid, right, less, whatever. It is like where you find an insecurity and you just drive in there, and you think that makes you stronger than them. I think that is not just wrong, it's just like it shows weakness. It doesn't show strength, right? So I do hope that, by coming here, you get to see also, from my point of view, how I think, right? Because I do believe that science is a beautiful thing. It's a flawed thing, but it's a beautiful thing. It is a process. And the problem with scientists, very often I do tell them that, and my own colleagues, is that sometimes we think that it is about the destination. It is not the journey, right? That when we're discussing, say, about the flat Earth, what if, like, the answer is that the Earth is flat? Or it turns out that the Earth is, like, a ball or a donut, or like this or whatever. In the end, do you care about this, or do you care about the process, the journey to figuring it out for yourself, banding together with others, right? And together with others, right? And considering opposing arguments, and finding out within yourself what stops you from appreciating this argument versus that argument, right? Of being more attracted to this particular idea, right? Versus that one. These are like ice cream flavors, right? You don't know why chocolate is better than vanilla, right?
So you try them all.
Or exactly, or pistachio or whatever. So
pistachio is really good.
Yes.
It could be both, though. Like, it could be appreciating the journey, but then also being focused on the truth of the reality of where we are. Because I think philosophically, that's a pretty important, deep question. Where are we?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yes.
The funnest part is the journey.
Yeah.
That is the coolest, most awesome, incredible thing. That's the coolest thing about this, is that the journey to getting here and meeting everybody is so incredible. Sasha, Jai, everybody on the panel, like, flat earthers have so much enthusiasm and so much. They're so sincere and they're so passionate, and it's like connecting with people, but on, like, the deepest level, because you're questioning the deepest things.
When there's an openness.
Yeah.
There's a real openness to possibility, which I know that you can appreciate.
So,
I'd love to introduce the panel, because usually Kenny does that, but
yes,
she's not
I
here.
don't even know. I know Ponce is there because
And
he's
I want to give them a chance to just give you, there's so many of us, but I want to give everybody a chance for a minute to give a few words to Spiros on this question. So actually, can you guys just go, Kenny, can you introduce everybody, because I can't.
Want me to introduce the panel?
So we got,
Okay, I'm gonna introduce.
we have somebody from Australia, somebody from Germany, and
Artez from Germany.
he's
Artez.
Pancho, of course.
the host of the channel, our host.
Your buddy Pancho.
Hello.
We have Jimmy, Karen Beach, I believe she's in Carolina.
You met her?
South Carolina.
Yes, yes.
We have Merle, he's in Australia. This guy on the couch.
Nathan, yeah, what are you doing there?
Sure. Yeah, I will there.
That's his baby.
We also have.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
There's another Nathan. We have two Nathans?
It's vintage.
You are listening.
Okay.
We have Snack, he is in.
Snack.
Uber.
He's been doing a lot of work.
is in, Uber's in Riverside,
Is that your portrait?
which is just east
Yeah, yeah.
here, 50 miles or so.
Cool.
And then that's us.
And then that's us.
So I love it if
I'll get rid of the control buttons.
artists, since you're on the far end,
Show you guys which.
actually on the other. Let's start with Snack. Snack, do you wanna give just a little response to what it is?
Just talking about what the flat Earth journey means to me.
Yeah, and yeah.
I look at I've made many friends in flat Earth, but I also consider everybody that's in flat Earth to be on the journey with me, pursuing this knowledge. I feel like probably the reason I'm attracted to other people that are into this topic is that we've all put aside a lot of different things that kind of made up our core reality prior. So a lot of us, for instance, we don't watch TV. We avoid certain things. We make different diet choices. I think it's after you walk through the fire of this, I think what is left is pretty pure. And that's what kind of inspires me about other flat earthers and the pursuit of their knowledge. And I'm very curious about the model myself, but I really appreciate how someone considers and weighs the truth. And I guess the $10 word here is epistemology, but I don't want to just placate to that. I think it's about a lot of courage to kind of address things that you've already kind of grown through, and to sort of grow from there. So I'm sort of addicted to flat earthers and to speaking them and meeting them and all kinds of things like that. And I'm happy you can be here with us, Spiros. I'll leave it at that for now.
Thanks for sharing this. That was awesome.
That's been doing a lot of work to help arrange this.
That's nice.
Thank you, Snack.
I have a question for everyone, including I guess myself. As we are going through this, because you alluded a little bit to this right now, if it turns out that the Earth is a globe, okay, what would that mean to each and every one of you as far as the community goes? Would you think that the community all of a sudden, you would be worried that it would just disband and then you wouldn't be friends, you wouldn't have things to talk about? Or would it be something else, that it has become something deeper, right?
I think it would be totally fascinating.
Yeah.
I think everyone would be oh my God, we all thought it was flat. Why did
Speaking of that, how are we going to do a test to prove it? We won't learn up.
We'll get
We'll
to
get there. That's at the end, Kenny. Establish that the
We
ceiling.
will drop all of us from the scratch.
Yeah, but the point being, most flat earthers, pretty much all flat earthers, are not attached to the flat earth model. You know what I mean? We've all been taught the globe model. This is the that's the model that we were all in up until about 3 years ago. You know what I mean? So we all had to really admit or face the fact that we could have been wrong.
Yeah.
So just to believe in flat earth in 2018 is to have already gone through the process of, I was wrong, what's next? So if that happens again, I think flat earth will be much more prepared. Psychologically.
Yeah, watch out for this color.
They'll be much more prepared than, because we were all in the globe to begin with.
So you said something that I found interesting, right? You said and this was actually a very nice subtle point you made, that you're among the few people in the world that have already gone through the shock of like, wait, I was wrong, now what? And then you find like this community, right? How do you know you were wrong?
Well,
Instead of saying, you could have said something else, right? Like, oh, it's not that I was wrong, maybe I didn't check for the evidence. Either way.
We got about eight.
So that's more.
We got about 8 things to try to share with you. We're gonna apply you with evidence.
It gets to your question earlier of trust. Like, I think there has to be a healthy balance between trust and between skepticism.
Yes.
Like even people who say that they don't trust anyone.
You gotta stay off that pill, man.
Even people say they don't trust anyone.
Yes.
Like if you go out of your house in the morning, it's all you do is trust. Like you get in a car, you're trusting all the other people on the road.
That's right.
You go to a restaurant, you're trusting the cooks, you're trusting everyone. So just being a community in this realm or in this globe or wherever we are, like it inherently involves trust.
Yeah.
So I think for most of us, specifically the point where that started to stop was when we were confronted with things from NASA that seemed extremely suspect. And so we all started to look at various aspects of NASA from the very beginning, and slowly the trust started to erode. And it was more and more and more evidence, and more visual scientific evidence from ISS videos, like all of these things that maybe you haven't seen before. So it was a process of the trust being eroded. And
I just want to give, I want to work my way down the panel and just give everybody a couple of minutes of able to comment on anything we're talking about. So Merle in Australia.
Okay.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Spiros. I'm upside down. Not really. But I fully appreciate your openness to this subject. I think it's an important time in general. One thing I'll put to you straight off, I hope it's okay to jump right in. Have you, on the reverse side of your question, have you considered that it really might not be a globe and we actually are on a flat plane?
Yes. And for me, the evidence doesn't even come honestly like from being discussed the first time. It doesn't come from NASA or even like any evidence that you're looking directly and you're seeing a globe and all that stuff. For me, it comes from the beauty of the theory underlying the theory of gravity, right? So an idea deeper than that of even forces, right? Where like you may be upside down, but the reason why you're not falling off into something else is because of like something kind of keeping you. And because this is my research, like, I was like, this is something amazing. Like I felt that this was, it's not just that like, it is a globe. It's like more like it can't really be anything but a globe, right? And it's not because the globe is, special for some philosophical reason. It's just because the way gravity works at a deeper level, beyond Einstein even, it creates symmetric objects, right? And a symmetric object is one where, all points are equidistant from like some central point as something is hurling and you're thinking, how did it get created, right? It goes into these deep questions from an explosion or something like that, and you may be thinking, why is it like?
Seen a physical experiment that demonstrates that spherical gravity to scale?
It's actually.
Did you do that?
Which one? Oh, I haven't done that, but it's a much simpler one.
Can you make a model of a ball?
Yeah, if you think about like when you drop water, right? What shape does it get? Does it get the shape of a disc or like
Teardrop?
Exactly?
Teardrop is not a ball.
It is a ball.
What happens if you put a piece of breadcrumb in that droplet of water?
It's not like air resistant. It tries to create an aerodynamic.
Judy has a question. What was the question, Judy?
Well, what if you put like a piece of breadcrumb inside that droplet of water and now drop it? I mean, just putting the breadcrumb in the water is going to change that from spherical to conform to the mass around it.
Well,
So it's apples to oranges comparison with just a droplet of water versus the earth.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think it would actually change the shape very much. It would just like internally the water molecules would just grow pretty much the same again under kind of like
A falling drop of water is temporary. It lands somewhere and then changes its shape. It doesn't
Oh, it doesn't
maintain
even
that
have to
ball.
be temporary. You can create like a situation with magnetic fields where it keeps going around and around,
But
and it's always like
that
like
requires magnetism. Gravity's not supposed to be magnetism.
No, but you could create like a situation of a loop where you're falling forever, right? Like a little elevator, and then you're going down again. So it can, it can remain forever as it's.
Or well, what about falling through a vacuum?
With different shapes because there is magnetic force now, but then you drop it again, and then it goes like whoop, again, and up and down. And that, kind of makes sense from that point of view of if something's acting on you at the same time, you create kind of like a spherical shape, right? It's because it minimizes the area for the same volume. You have the same amount of stuff, and you're trying to minimize, like, the area. A sphere is the best way to
I mean, liquid at rest level.
That's because of this.
So Spiros,
And because you have like the
Still
forces hitting everything else.
level.
No,
I
no,
changed the
completely
bottom,
agree.
still level.
I completely agree. But this is because this is exactly like how gravity is supposed to work with fluids, right? This is
But always
this is the whole
level.
point.
Like this, always level.
you didn't really address the question. Have you considered?
Does the physics of water change?
You have to,
Yes.
like
So-
hypothetically, if you
Yeah.
hypothetically, if the Earth was flat,
Yes.
what are your thoughts?
So I would put it this way, again, going back to the process, right? It's not hypothetically at this point, it's more about if I were to find out the evidence myself, right? And it could be also very simple, and if you go to any astronaut, you could just ask them, right? And either they're all lying at the same time, or like something else is going on. They may say, well, no, yeah, I saw like glow when I was up there, or you put a balloon or something like that, right? So it comes down to trust, as I said before, right? Like either you go up there yourself,
I
as
think
you
it comes
said.
down to reality. Of what we can see with our own eyes, what we can
That's
feel. You
that
can't allow your.
is, let me ask you something,
Yeah.
right? Can you see the air?
Yeah, with the cylinder and lens, yes.
I completely agree with you.
Have you ever seen it?
But this is not the question I'm asking. Can you right now see the air? Do you trust that there's air? Can you see the radio waves, the phonons, the electromagnetic waves connecting us around the world? Can you see any of that?
We're not equipped to see those.
Well, Spiros, here's the
Because
thing.
you trust them,
See the
but you still trust them.
see and track the results of this.
And we can
But how do you trust
and
it?
we can also measure.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
I completely agree with all of
What is
that.
the device that harnesses gravity and shows?
Right. We,
You're not correct, you're not correct.
I just want
Yeah,
to put
yeah.
it, we do trust air, so we're pretty trusting in that aspect. We trust things that we
Well,
can
yeah,
prove
it's-
ourselves.
Gotta
We just
defend
don't trust astronauts, but they're like a small part of the population. But we trust everybody else. Pretty much.
It's about a million.
Well, no, I mean, there's like-
Percent.
It's not the astronauts, right? And why would the astronauts have any reason to lie? It's not about that. It's about NASA, JPL, the government, everyone who's ever put something up in the sky, everyone who's ever shown pictures of, from up there. Those are the people you don't trust, right? So think about this.
I would
Like,
say we
what does
disagree.
it take for that
I don't
evidence?
trust them,
Okay,
I don't trust the visuals and the information that they've shown us.
good. So let me ask you this question. All the evidence. This is a very simple but powerful question, and I want all of you to be honest, right? I want you to be honest. Who created all the evidence, and I will put it in quotation marks because I'm going to be honest with you, right? That you say has proven that NASA has
We
been lying
have,
to you.
and they have.
Who? No, but who has created it? Who? You?
Of course.
Any one of
Wait,
you?
The evidence.
Who created the evidence? Somebody that, how do you trust the evidence you have seen so far on the internet?
No, it's
By your own community.
It's NASA.
It's not.
NASA creates it.
We're gonna get
So
you
far,
that.
like,
NASA itself.
NASA creates it, and we see that it's a bunch of BS.
I agree with that. I was shown only one set of evidence last time I was here, and that was BS, right? Somebody doctored it
Yeah,
from your
I
community.
know.
Well, I don't think that
What
that's
do you-
actually
what was
factual, what you
Dr.
just said,
Are you
Spiros,
talking
because
about the lunar launch from the moon? Because that was 100% from NASA.
There's like
And
a
Doctor.
coming out as this thing is.
I don't know that it was
That-
South.
that's
from NASA.
we
I can
found that
do
out.
right now where you can go to NASA.gov and download that.
Hold on to that, miss. One at a time.
Yeah. May I,
One at a time. Karen, go ahead.
I'm just saying that I actually am working on a project with a friend of mine where we're collecting all the official video of so-called space flight from NASA, and all of the stuff that we're getting is from NASA.gov, and that image that we showed you last time is from NASA. That's what they give us.
It was the video. It was the lunar lander taking off.
yeah.
The lift-off video.
Yeah, that's 100% from NASA. That's Apollo 11, I think,
Video.
or 17. I forget which one, but that's from NASA.
16 or
Or
17.
whatever, yeah, there was a lift-off video.
I sent you a link
So
that
here,
was a little
yes,
different,
so
but
I
that
think,
doesn't
I think,
mean that it's
I
not
think
real.
this is very important right now.
It's very
I
cool.
think this is a very important, because it came from your community, right? So whatever you
No,
have,
that came from NASA.
whatever you have been, no, that's not right. Whatever you have.
Yes, it is though.
It's
It
from
is. It
NASA.
came from NASA.
But we can do it now, right now. We can do it right now.
It was not
Of course,
from NASA.
we can do it right now.
Right, let him continue with the fantasy real quick, it's okay.
From
I don't
NASA,
have
the one you showed me. There are different videos, right? It is overlaid on top of the original NASA video, is overlaid some like laser light things coming out, which makes it look ridiculous.
Mhm.
Come and play this right now, because I want to teach you a very important lesson about science, right? That
Can we just go to the NASA site?
then you cannot trust, like, even the people that are telling you, oh no, it's not like this, it's the other way around, right? We want to doctor it to make it seem that it was fake. So can we actually see this?
Joshua, can you find that clip?
Yeah.
Absolutely, no, you're right
Okay.
about that one video. Absolutely. And I think we are all totally confident that we could go to official NASA sources, either that we choose, that you choose, that you.
I would like to see today from this example and hear your reasoning. Yeah.
Should we move on to that then?
Uh,
We have all that prepared?
Uber's the cat. We missed an introduction with him. But Jibby and Uber have a tour of NASA.gov, and we're gonna
Segue.
stay on
Are you ready?
NASA.gov.
Are we gonna do
We're
that
gonna
now?
share, well, we're gonna just have just a quick hello from Jibby, Poncho, and Artist, please. Can you guys say hi?
Good evening, Spiros.
Hi, Poncho.
Hello, Spiros. Great to see you again. I appreciate it a lot.
It's Artist. Where are you, Artist? Where are you?
Germany.
Germany. When in Germany? Like Stuttgart, Berlin. Hamburg.
It's in the country.
Ah, okay. You're out. Cool.
It's very late over here. It's 3:45, but I wouldn't miss this.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm Jibby. I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a big Marvel Studios fan. I'm a huge fan of Flat Earth. And I think that Jedi work great on a flat Earth. Let me just say that.
Cool.
He's Jimmy the Jedi.
Jimmy the Jedi. Awesome. Very cool. Okay.
Poncho, you want to say anything about the Flat Earth community?
Yeah, in general, we're very skeptical. It's not that we don't trust anybody. It's just that we believe what we see with our own eyes, and we trust our senses. The footage that you saw from Jibby, the lunar lander, I would stake my life on it. It's NASA footage. I've watched plenty of it, and it's from NASA's website. So I think
just
someone's
put
going to
a
find
link
that
in the
footage
chat.
now. I think Josh might be finding it.
I just put a link in the chat. It's
That's
from
not- We don't mess around.
history.nasa.gov.
I'll tell you when I'm doing green screen. I promise you.
What am I looking at?
So I think we're gonna move to Uber and Jibby are gonna give us a tour of NASA.gov.
Can we do something before? Because
Yeah.
like some of it has to be at the not. Yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah.
But I want us to go into something because I think like the best thing I can do for your community is to be honest with you, right? And to give you, from my point of view, like weaknesses I see. processes as a scientist that I've been through.
Please do.
So
appreciate it.
so this is what I want to do, right? Let's stick to the one video. I mean, I saw many things, right, last time. So yes, this video. Can we play this video, please?
Play the video, Uber. Can you do that?
Uber, you got a video?
Yeah, got it.
Uber, can you play the link that's on the
He
screen?
said, yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Right?
all right. So, hey, Spiros. First off, this exact video is from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Let's play this video that you have there. Yeah, let's do that. I think let's go slow through this because this is going to be interesting, I think. Cool.
He's gonna slow it down to, half speed or
Or quarter, sure. And do a takeover.
They never left the moon. They just,
Still there. Still hanging.
that's the secret.
Yeah, this is gonna take a while.
Get-
For
Fast
those-
forward a little bit.
1, 2,
I
3,
cannot
take
even
us.
see.
There you
Okay,
go.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's some close horizon.
You want to restart it, Josh? Replay it again.
Just from around there, yeah. And then do it like also in half speed, maybe. That way.
So, Josh, the source of this is the Smithsonian. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm with you. Let's look at this at half speed.
we have to trust.
So should we go a little faster? Okay.
I also put a link in the chat that is actually from nasa.gov. It has the same video on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Close.
So great. Now, what is weird about this video? Why are we seeing this video? Can anyone identify?
What is
What do you
the
think
other
is, like,
camera? Who's operating the other camera while they're leaving the
Oh,
moon? And how did it
these
get?
were. That's it.
No,
Oh.
there's many things. Who's operating
Okay,
the
no,
camera?
that's a simple one. Like there was what they did is they set up what is called the RCA cameras that they left some of them so they could, they left them there. They're still there, right? Supposedly, and it just took off. So they put them around so people on Earth could see what was happening because they didn't leave somebody behind.
Somebody panned the camera up to follow it.
Yeah, I mean that's they could do a lot more stuff, but they could send something like so far away. They can remote control and be like, okay, yeah,
It's also, I mean, the rate of acceleration.
At 238,000 miles away, with a 3.5 second delay.
Yeah.
I don't think motion tracking capabilities were
Motion
like that.
It's about motion tracking, right? Just watching and then just like racing. So relative to their time, they're already
1969.
doing it. I agree,
Okay.
but think about 1969,
1970,
Quite the motor.
not just having
Let's not forget about the inverse square law and the fact that the moon is supposed to be 240,000 miles away.
and see what capabilities do they have back
1
then.
second. Karen, what did you say?
I said, and also the fact that the moon is supposed to be 240,000 miles away, and there is a basic law of physics called the inverse square law. A radio signal going from Earth to the moon and back without a delay like that. And they couldn't even. And why did Nixon call them from a landline?
Yeah, no,
Did you
but
know the Nixon called them
oh,
the landline?
sure, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
And we have
I mean,
a 14
it's all
second
goes
delay
with that.
here today.
But it doesn't, I think none of this really matters because the speed of light is so large that it takes like a couple of seconds, maybe delay, probably even less, right? To come from the moon. No, we're talking about classical physics versus my research, which
But it
goes.
still has to obey the inverse square law.
you know,
Spirit.
Yes, but I want to say something here because think about the inverse square law actually has nothing to do with this distance divided tells you how much time it would take, right, to send something and come back. So that's that's fine. And, yeah, you could do something like that, and they figured out a way to do it, right? So it did take also some time. You can also zoom out and make it look like you're just doing, right? You're seeing more of it. I'm not worried about that as much. The first time I saw that, it was like all these laser-like things, coming out.
From the rocks.
I mean, honestly,
That looked like kind of, whatever, right?
It's
Technicolor or whatever.
It's-
Yeah.
It looks like
it's problematic with or without the sparks. I mean,
Why?
so
Why is
well,
it
how do
focused?
you?
All right. Well, gravity is only what 1/3 of Earth, and there's many video of NASA astronauts throwing things in the air, and they fall.
To the original
Like when you
video.
watch it, hold on, quiero.
So that's what I wanted to do. Sorry, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you got a point? Go ahead.
I'm just referring to like comparing this to the astronauts on footage throwing things around the moon. It was basically under the same gravity of Earth, but kind of like a half-speed motion on film. But they would go up, come right back down, go up, come right back down. Now this does not have any propulsion attached to it. The propulsion's on the ground.
Where's the rocket?
Now that seems to be all it took in 1/3 of Earth's gravity to get all the way into orbit.
Of course it is lifting. This is what
If it's half the gravity, then how come the plume, like when you watch a rocket take off from Earth,
Yes.
you see all that smoke, all that shit, it's all being thrown out, right? So if the gravity is half as much as wind, how come there's a double-sized cloud, plume of dust, dirt, everything being kicked up?
Yeah.
There's nothing, you can see that from the cameras on the ground, there's nothing blocking.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a 10,000-pound thrust engine.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay, I just want. So
Between launching that vessel from Earth and the massive amount of propulsion that
So I will say a few things.
contrasted with
This
that.
was never okay. So maybe then you're missing part of the story. The reason why there's a huge explosion on Earth is because you have something that is like 200 times as heavy as this living Earth. This is only the tip of the iceberg that lands, right? On Earth, the reason why there's so much explosion is because they're carrying so much liquid that needs to be combusted so that they can leave the Earth's gravity, which is like 6 times stronger. So there's something else going on here. At this point, and you may have seen it in other things when they're detaching, right? SpaceX is doing their stuff, and like first phase, second phase, and then the third phase, like, only this thing is like out there, right? It's just flying out there. They're like burning off the first part so that they can get to the second part just far enough so there is like less of a gravitational pull, so then they can escape, right? At this point, not only do they have like 1/200th of the weight because they're not carrying all the shit they have to blow up, right, to escape Earth, they're also at 1/6 of the gravity. So if we actually go, and this is my point here, if we go to the actual video, you will not see the laser-like stuff. You will see exactly what you're missing. Which you said, like, I don't see anything like flying out. You see a bunch of rocks and shit, like, coming towards the camera, and those things have been manipulated by someone to look like laser-like effects. Instead of you seeing dust and rocks,
okay,
let's go to the Smithsonian
so
one.
I want to get the Uber and Jibby. I just want to give Uber and Jibby a chance to present this, but can you bring us to the actual?
Yeah, can we see the Smithsonian version?
I believe this is the Smithsonian.
I think
They're
the
both
purple
the
was the
same.
Smithsonian
If I
version.
may just say for 1 second, you can see in the beginning of the clip that the RGB is out of phase. You can see it flickering. So really what you're seeing that you think is like laser light effects is the fact that there's some kind of very bright thing, like maybe too bright for the camera to register, and it's what you're seeing is a combination of different colors that come out from there.
I think you're right, and I feel that as well. But I guess my bigger point is that this was not in the original video. So I agree.
No, we won't find one that does not have this, and I doubt you can either.
So Sasha sent me a link to the original from the Smithsonian, and we watched it together, and we both agreed that it was not the same video.
I have to say that I could have made an error and sent you a different.
No, it looked like the real one because it looked very old and whatever capabilities they had.
Sure, we'll see. There are multiple.
We should be able to find it.
I did put a link to NASA.gov. That video from NASA. It's history.nasa.gov.
Karen said she put it in the.
Karen got it.
Yeah, do you know which one it
Because
was?
I was just looking at it last week.
I am
Smithsonian dot whatever it was.
From Smithsonian. That was
No. This is. Okay, wait. Can we go to?
Can we?
Because I have a different. I mean, I can even.
Yeah, I
give you
know.
that.
I think it's possible. I honestly think I might have given you just a different one.
No,
It's where like
that
Maggie
looked like
launches.
it looked like the right link to Smithsonian.
Yeah.
So.
So can we bring up that link and then can we actually like
Josh is bringing it up.
Josh? Can we like So,
Okay,
the
here we
source-
go. Hold on. I got this.
But,
Check this out.
a little less. Yeah.
History.nasa.gov. Okay.
Yeah.
This is their archive footage.
Yeah.
All right. So this is official NASA stuff, right? And
Yeah.
here's their video, dude.
Says low resolution.
There's no launch out.
Okay. Never mind. Hold on. Give me a second, because this is after.
Nice
This is
remote.
after the takeoff, right?
No, we're looking for
Hold
yeah.
on. It's got the wrong one.
There are quite a few.
It's hard to.
They were doing a lot of this over a few years. There was like a lot of.
So
This is all our.
We're nothing if none like not dramatic. Will there be sparks? Will there be sparks?
in the next episode.
It's the one that's 16 seconds long, Josh. It's
This one up here.
it says it's the one right before it says this silent Challenger launch clip begins 3 seconds before
Okay.
ignition and follows the lunar module for 13 seconds.
All right. So here we go. And
There it is. Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
That's
What
NASA.
are you seeing?
NASA.gov.
That's.
And then keep watching it. At the very end, it does something really
Let's
weird.
go back again and watch it.
We're seeing something float through nothingness.
Play again. Play again, John.
I get all those rainbow spines. That's exactly what it looked like.
Because
Yeah, but also
that's what
specifically
it
from
always
the
looks like.
Smithsonian Institute right
But
now,
look at your
right?
bright side, like all the way down.
Oh,
That's from NASA.gov.
That's pyrotechnics.
just because of that.
Still seeing rainbow sparklers.
okay. So
Oh, no, I wasn't on a computer, yeah?
Now, Spirit, I did send Spirit one which didn't have sparks. I looked at it and I was like, oh.
And this is from the Smithsonian, SI.edu
I think
specifically.
no,
they have multiple.
this is
NASA.gov.
this is not from the Smithsonian, bro. This is not from the Smithsonian.
That's from NASA.
This is from history.nasa.gov.
So I see some of the same effects, but in this one you can see more clearly, right, that there's a bunch of rocks flying out as you would expect, as this thing is like propelling itself up. So it makes sense. I mean, I do agree with another comment that the RGB, there was a reason back in '69, there was the Technicolor, right, cameras, and that everything was psychedelic.
I don't see any rocks and I don't see any moon dust either. Why is there no dust?
I don't see any.
Why would rocks fly up but no moon dust?
I don't see propulsion. It's like Superman jumped and he just kept going. It's still under gravity.
In terms
There's
of,
no observable.
Like defying physics.
Why do you
Spiros, can I just ask you a quick question? Do you think that does it bother you maybe even just a little bit that you went from thinking that we faked that video to defending it?
Well, there was a confusion where I sent a video to Spirit that didn't have sparks, and I didn't know how I
No,
made the mistake.
Karen, you make a very good point, but I have to say this in defense. The video that I saw the first time was a video that was from the society. It was not even the one from NASA or from Smithsonian Institute, like the Flat Earth Society, right? Because it had. No, I'm just saying, like, if somebody from your side had made a video, right, had taken that video, the source video, and had put, like, words underneath saying, like, does this make any sense? Why would it, and all that stuff. That's why I said, where is the source video? So also when I saw the sparks coming out, which were enhanced for some reason, and maybe it didn't even happen from anyone, like, in your group, it was NASA that said, oh, let me just, like,
Clean it up.
to clean it up or whatever, right, and made that look a little weirder. And then the Smithsonian Institute had the raw footage, as it seems, which seems more like you have a bunch of rocks and gray matter like flying out through the camera. That's why I thought, like, wait, what's happening? There were like a bunch of stuff.
Just from watching what you just showed me right now, it looks like almost that might be, and that might be an official. Like that might be the 1969, because you know NASA does go back and doctor their footage and they make them high def. Like they have the from the moon, like the moonrise or Earthrise, that's 1080p. That wasn't shot.
Yeah, I know.
Like these photos are admittedly enhanced in some way. So from what you just showed me right now, that looks incredibly more clear. But
that's why I was like,
that is
That's the original.
And I think,
like,
that either way, like, I was trying to understand why I was showing this video the first time, because there was some commentary, as I said, below it. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't see, like, I see just a bunch of, like, laser-like things coming out. I didn't see any debris and stuff like that. And then when I watched the other version that Sasha sent me, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, there's a bunch of rocks
it looks
flying
like
out.
totally different.
So would it be
Those
cool?
two examples.
Okay. Would it be cool if Uber showed us a few more things?
What's the propulsion? What is the propulsion of that thing to get into orbit? That's preposterous.
Do you believe
Yes, what
that,
is the
hang on.
It's the same thing that,
Do you believe that was enough propulsion to get that craft
oh, yeah.
at the speed needed to get back to the Earth, 288,000 miles, in roughly the same time as it took to get out there? Like, do you think that was
It probably is
that was
even
enough?
easier. Why? Because in order to accelerate, it has to do with acceleration, right? To accelerate on like a sixth of the gravity, because the moon is smaller and everything, then you just have to do like a 36th of the work because of the even square law, actually, right? So it is much easier to like propel something, and that's why floating, right? With like the same force as here on Earth, you could jump like 36 times higher.
So,
It's like insane, and that's why they have to be kind of careful when they were weighed down, like, with the.
Uber,
I mean, we saw the rate that it
Uber,
was
can you bring us
At
up?
what point did it get to the speed needed?
The escape velocity. The escape velocity, you're saying, right?
Uber, can you
That's
bring
what
us up
we need.
another
I
example?
forget.
How did
It goes. That's a beautiful
Yeah,
question.
let's just keep rolling the videos.
So what you do is like you have to get to a place where the gravity, again because of the inverse square law, has dropped so much that then you don't even need. You just need a little bit of every now and then to keep it to a constant velocity. You don't need to accelerate anymore.
Hey Josh,
incredible speed?
Oh, that is
this is
not-
John Glenn piloting his little
Karen's talking, hold on.
thing.
What's that, Karen?
I was talking to Uber Josh. I was telling him to pull up the video of John Glenn when he was piloting this
Give Uber a
the little
chance.
thing around the moon. That is the worst. That's even more fake looking than the other one.
I want to give Uber a chance to present what he's prepared. That's like the main thing that's been prepared. So Uber, you got the stage.
I mean, this by far is my absolute like favorite. This one takes the crown of all NASA videos in the history of NASA, as far as I'm concerned.
That one?
This is the greatest of all. This made me just throw the towel in. It's like they're not even trying anymore.
So where is this from? Give me a little bit.
This is from NASA.gov. They released
In
this
what context?
2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's 19 frames from 1 million miles away, they claim, of the moon traversing the Earth.
Okay.
The cloud patterns do not move over the course of, say, 6 hours or so. And it looks preposterous, especially on perspective alone. So being from this perspective of the observer, if I were to move in closer to the moon right now, would the Earth get smaller or bigger? Now, if I land on the moon and I'm facing the Earth and I look up, the entire sky would be filled with the Earth.
You
So
understand?
some perspective.
What he's saying is if you were to land on the moon
Yes.
with Apollo, whatever, 11,
Yeah.
12, 13, 14,
Yes.
and you were standing on the moon and you took a picture of Earth,
Yes.
from that perspective,
Go ahead, fries.
the
Go
Earth
ahead,
would
fries.
pick up the entire frame. The pictures that we got back, the Earth was kind of small, like we see the moon here on Earth. Show them, dude.
Okay.
This is a perspective change. Show them, dude.
So
What do you want to pull up?
we would need to do some math here. It's like Euclidean geometry, right? How far away are they saying is the camera?
1 million miles.
That's right. How far away would you be from the Earth if you were on the surface of the moon?
240,000.
240,000.
So relative perspective of moon relative to the Earth would kind of make sense from very far away, right? That they are about that
The
size.
closer you would go in, the bigger it would get.
When you move closer to an object,
It gets bigger.
I'm with
You
you.
know that.
Yeah,
Even
I'm with
if
you.
you see a truck way down the road,
Yes.
you drive up to it, all of a sudden it takes up your whole view.
objects in the mirror. Closer.
So what is the aperture of our eyes relative to that of the camera taking this?
Anybody know that answer?
What is like, the aperture? I would say are we about the same size, like a million times smaller, right? How much light can you get at one point, right? If you're sitting with your eyes and you're looking versus you have a camera that can zoom in, because again, a million miles, think about this person. Right? If this is a million miles away, how can it even see anything? It has zoomed in tremendously, right? It is about the zoom. If you were to do the same kind of zoom, like maybe, I don't know, maybe even a million to one, right, at this point, which is insane, so they can see from that far away such large objects, then you're right. You not only would you see the whole Earth within your view, you would see you and me playing table tennis. It would be, you wouldn't even see that there's anything but us, like it would look like a microscope, right? So it makes sense from our point of view, I think. Yeah, it's the zoom.
Hey, Spiros.
If you were from a million miles away looking at the Earth and the Moon like that, it would look like you wouldn't even be able to see it. They zoom in very down, right?
Go ahead, Snack, what do you got?
Spiros, did that appear to be a realistic depiction of the Earth and the Moon, or do you think that Marvel Studios could have done a better job?
You know what? You have a very good point here. So, apart from like fluid dynamics, which somebody mentioned, right? How are the clouds staying like about the same and all the stuff as it's rotating and all these things, right? So think about this. What if they were actually these people, right? And these are my people. I could say, I mean, even though they know more than I do about how the climate changes and how clouds move and all stuff. You're absolutely right. If they wanted to doctor that, right, and weren't just trying to show whatever they're seeing, they could have done a much fancier job being like, oh, look, we have like effects. In fact, Hollywood does that to us all the time. We go give them like what we know, then they show a black hole with a bunch of lights around it. We're like,
I honestly think it is a propaganda aesthetic of NASA to show things that are sort of low quality in a sense, like
So
not spectacular.
Like you're saying, it looks so real.
It looks so fake. That's how you know it's real.
Yeah.
They play a aesthetic
But do you
of
think-
low quality because it
Okay.
means real and it means science and it means authentic, and it gives this psychological feeling of, well, they're not trying to put on a show, so it must be trustworthy. And it's.
I mean, maybe that could be. That sounds like pretty smart. That was second order
That's
thinking.
how people play poker.
Sure, you could be laughing like with that. But let me ask you something, right? Would you also say the same thing if they had spent the extra time, as you're thinking, right, to maybe like, oh, they're rotating, it looks like fabulous and Marvel, like, would have done something like that? Would you be like, oh, come on, they're trying too hard, right? Clearly, there is like this BS. This shouldn't happen.
They need a contrast. They need a contrast between Hollywood movies and science fiction and the reality, and it's an aesthetic contrast.
And reality wins. Right? I agree. There's a contrast between Hollywood movies
But Hollywood
and
dominates.
reality.
We know reality.
Oh, but Hollywood
dominates.
and Marvel and whatnot didn't exist back then when they were making some of these first movies, right?
Of course it is.
MGM.
But they couldn't do shit. Like I remember watching.
Well, they did have Stanley Kubrick, though, didn't they?
You know what the very first movie was? The very first movie ever.
Was it the one about the moon?
Trick of the Moon, right?
Was it the what? Was it the rocket person? That is crazy.
And what was it? The opening scene, and they're wearing all their wizard stuff, and they're all wizards, and they're running around and they're talking about going on the moon. They're all wizards, and then they take their wizards off and they put their tablets.
Okay, I'm in there for a second.
So you know what? Art has hated us for a long time.
Art
You know,
Can artists say something really quickly?
Sasha, I think Uber is very eager to say something. So Uber, go ahead. George?
Go ahead, Snack.
This
All
artist.
right, do I got a second to say something now? Like,
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Jump in,
Okay.
jump in, Josh.
yeah, Spiros, bro, you keep talking about trust. Like, who do we trust, right? It's simple. We trust the people that don't lie to us. You know?
but who are those? How do you
Well,
know?
it's definitely not NASA, bro.
But how? Why do you say that? Why do you
This
say
is why. Okay, check this out, dude. If I told you that I was gonna send a 1 millimeter thick Mylar weather balloon 500 miles away from Earth, okay?
1,000 miles, Josh.
1,000 miles?
No. 500, Jimmy, please. 500 miles,
Yeah.
okay, away from Earth. All right? What would you ask for if I told you I did that?
Like, well, first of all, I'm gonna ask you, like, you know, why do you think that this is difficult? Is it because it's 1 millimeter thick and you think it's gonna puncture easily? Is that it?
No, I'm not telling you it's difficult. I'm telling you I did it.
Yeah, I must have
What
missed
would
you.
you need to do?
No, let Uber
Sorry,
do
yeah.
it. Let Uber do it.
So you
No, I'm not saying it's difficult. I'm telling you I did it.
okay.
Now
Good.
what you want from me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what would you want from me naturally?
I would want some video, either
Some
from
proof,
the balloon or from you, like looking at the balloon go up, and yeah,
Some proof, right?
that would be proof for me. It's the specific proof.
Why would you need proof? Why would you need proof?
Oh, personally, why would need proof?
Why would anybody need proof?
Oh no, I mean, but I think that's a very important question. It comes down to this for me, right? I wouldn't need proof because I didn't trust you specifically, depending, of course, on how important it is in my life, right? You're
Okay.
like, jump from this building, you'll be fine, dude. I did it already several times a week, right? You know, like, oh, I don't know. Can you do it again one more time, right? And then, like, I'll jump after you. But when it comes to that balloon, I would be more interested in, like, first of all, why you did it, how you put it together, because it sounds awesome, right? And then before I had any other questions about show me videos or any of that stuff, I'd be like, all right, can you also show me, like, you know, I want to learn how to do this myself, like something like that. Yeah. So of course, if it meant like, will I give you $1 million, right? So you can make like one that can go even further up, then I would need more proof if you kept telling me, and I've been through that, by the way, right? Keep telling me that, like, no, I have it, I just need the money to finish a few things, right? And then I'm just gonna, like, you know, then I'll just send you a video, and then you can just
Okay.
have it.
Yeah, that's a great answer, dude. Now check this out. Do balloons last in a vacuum though?
Balloon
Like
last-
what you know about science, you're a smart guy. Do
The
balloons last in a vacuum?
balloons would immediately explode, just like humans, like, you know, explode in space, right? Because we have internal pressure, and so unless it is the atmospheric pressure,
Yeah.
even when you just go to higher altitudes, you're like,
Especially if I told you that this balloon was going to be filled with helium, right?
Mhm.
It would pop, right? 500 miles up. Isn't that past the Kármán line?
The thing about helium is that it is much less dense than air, which means that the internal pressure of a helium balloon is like thousands of times smaller, right, than that of regular air. That's why they can also just go up, right? That they just are floating up. Because
Okay.
they're guarded by things underneath them. So they would expand, yes, but it wouldn't expand as much because you can think of, like, you know, instead of a trillion balls hitting like the surface of the balloon and trying to expand and break it, you can think of 20 of them, right? Like, man, you know, we're kind of hitting. So there's less internal pressure. It would expand even so, but it'd be much less, like exponentially smaller, like expansion, because you don't have as many of them all at the same time. Going boom, boom, boom. That's probably why. Yeah.
So then a helium balloon wouldn't pop in space?
Sorry, what was that?
A helium balloon would not pop in space.
It depends on the integrity of the surface of the balloon. It depends on because you can think of it that way, right? How many soldiers, those are the little atoms, right? The helium atoms.
Okay. Well,
break through the hull at the same time.
To give you an idea of how thick the balloon would be,
Yeah.
have you ever been at like a birthday party that had kids that had one of those bouncy houses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so
Those kids.
this
Yes.
would be the thickness of 2 layers of that bouncy house material.
Wow, that's actually
Pretty big.
much thicker than it was. Yeah. So let me give you a sense of how small helium atoms are, right? They are nanometer, probably even smaller than nanometer. These things are like about 1 million times thicker, right? So it's just if you have a wall that is made up of 1 million people and you're trying to attack it with 20 people and break through, thick, 1 million people thick, right? So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it very much. You need to
So we can send a bouncy house into space,
Right, that's
right?
What's that, Stat?
Is it possible to send a bouncy house into space?
That probably would break. It breaks under the little children bouncing around.
They sent tires. They sent that.
Well,
for tires. In
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
No
there.
issue. Why don't I
Space or that's that one. Yeah.
Did you believe that? Did that feel?
Yeah. It's crazy he did that, but yeah.
Did you ask any questions about it? Were you like, I wonder if there's any issue with a red car flying through space?
No, I did, but my question was more I wonder if there's any issue with Elon Musk's head that he sent a dummy in one of his nice cars instead of just giving it.
Do you think it's weird that a car turns out to be able to fly in space when they spend all this money designing a spacecraft?
Oh, it's not
Specifically?
flying. I mean, you could put anything you want in the universe, the craziest shit that you've ever seen, this pillow or whatever. And once you put it up there in space, it'll just do its thing.
Is it possible that NASA could show you anything with the NASA stamp on it,
Okay.
and you would say, I don't think that's possible?
Oh, of course. But what comes after is I think what may differentiate some of us, right? Which is and it happens to me, forget even about NASA, all right? I see mathematical proofs, not physical evidence, which could be popular and stuff, right? I'm I don't think that's possible. And I have to go in, understand beyond their own understanding, the world expert Nobel Prize winners' understanding, right? Where they are, where they came up with this idea, and then try to break it. That's what I had to do with this Millennium Problem. That's why they were stuck. They gave 2 Nobel Prizes, actually 7 Nobel Prizes. That's a big set of Nobel Prizes. And I was just reading just yesterday, right, on the NobelPrize.org website, where they said, oh yeah, and we know why this phenomenon works, and then again, 5 years later, another set of Nobel Prizes, and then we figure it out again why this works maybe a little better and all that stuff. Every time they would give a Nobel Prize to a theoretical person explaining this phenomenon, they would be we figured it out, but we figured it out again and again and again.
Josh, do you think we could see the launch of that balloon?
For somebody to win a Nobel Prize.
They need to have a lot of money.
The people who decide, the people who
Josh, let's see some of that footage of that balloon.
are at a different level than the rest of us. They're.
I will tell you this. Yeah, let me explain how this works because I had to figure it out.
How do we know that, you're talking Einstein.
The people that are deciding the Nobel Prize are not as smart as you and me.
What?
So you try.
Is it a popularity contest?
No. I mean, otherwise they would win Nobel Prizes themselves, right? Maybe I will win one. That's the idea, apparently. That I may win one, right? So I'm telling you right now, and you all seem very smart people because we're having some deep conversations right now, right? So what I'm trying to say, I'm not just trying to be nice. They are more bureaucratic. They're supposed to give the Nobel Prize, right? So what they try to do is to actually be people that can find value in others. And what do? They go to experts, not the ones that are going to win the Nobel Prize, but their colleagues, people that don't like them. And so when I say, hey, does this person deserve a Nobel Prize? Even though you don't like them, maybe you don't even trust them or whatever, right? According to their work and how you understand it. They say, yeah, indeed, like, okay, they've done something amazing, and there's technology now based on that, lasers, and, tomography, and all that, like, good healthcare stuff. So, like, sure, let's do it. And then they call them, and they don't even know they're about to get a call. But, yeah, and I will even say the people that do win the Nobel Prize, they are very smart people, but they're not that much different from you and me. I really do mean that. It's not like there's some people that are born and they're like with a Nobel Prize thing on their head. It's like, just grow up, survive long enough, and then you'll get one, right? No. They feel like as stupid and worthless as any one of us throughout their life because they have other people telling them, no, you're not going to succeed. Their own advisors, mentors.
We got someone.
In some situations, they don't even win one because they're women for some reason, and then the men say like, "No, we did the work."
Uber, we got
Uber.
Yeah.
You're out, Uber.
Uber.
You're out, babe.
So you're telling me that?
That's what I'm going. That's really
All the way there,
Is this
and the
like
science.
presentation time, or what are we doing?
We've been
But yeah, Uber is continuing his presentation for a little bit, and he's got an image he'd like to show us, and I'd really love to give Uber the floor.
Go ahead, Uber. Unmute, Uber.
All right, here we go. Hey, so yeah, dude, this is NASA's big ass, 100-foot wide, 0.5 millimeter thick Mylar satellite called
Satellite.
Echo 2.
Called Echo 2 satellite.
Okay, let's see what we're seeing.
And
It's just launching now. It's just like going up in the air. Okay.
is that
Well,
right now?
you see, this right now is supposed to already be in space. Okay, here, let me show you real quick what it looked like on the launch pad.
Awesome.
No questions? You're just like, NASA, you're giving it to me, I believe it.
How long ago was this?
1964.
Oh, 1960.
I was born.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
all right. May I say something? When I see this, the question in my mind is more that of awe. How the hell did they do this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
That's why I'm
right?
there, man.
And it is insane. Like, even look at what they have constructed. It looks like an Eiffel Tower with a little jingle bell.
Oh, it's definitely an Eiffel.
Right? I don't know what it is.
It's a Christmas
And-
ornament.
Happy New Year's!
If we built that right here, and we put a ball on top of this bottle or whatever, would you consider that to be like a good way to launch something? I mean,
No, I mean, you're trying to launch whatever is at the top, and all the things at the bottom are like,
it's gonna
Where's
fall.
that?
oh, sure.
Where's that?
I'm not even sure, like, I would love to see, like, what this.
Can we see the launch, Uber? Can we see
It's
that?
got some Elmer's glue on it. That'll survive the air friction.
Wait.
You have to
They
launch.
launched that thing by putting it on the tip of a rocket.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This for a second.
It then inflates itself on the stack of tanks that you can see there.
Now,
Well,
the question is this.
Put
It's
a
about the
Mylar
size of
balloon
like
to the tip of a rocket.
And that's not a string or anything. That's nothing. Don't
Can
pay
I
attention.
ask something quickly?
Yes.
So, who would be insane enough to make this thing if it was going to be fake and useless? Wait for a second, right? Why would it look this way? Why would it be so strange? Why would all rockets since then also look this way,
Because
right?
of the propaganda
Why?
aesthetic.
No, I mean, it's fine
We
for propaganda.
can't
but-
question the
It
ridiculous.
looks the same as that rocket from 1900 movie.
Who would do
It's a very popular shape.
That movie is 100
An
years
agency that receives $52 million a day of taxpayer money. That's it.
But they could do like cooler looking stuff.
Right.
They're much more interesting.
And
If you
because
had,
they don't,
no,
it's mental glue where you're like, how could I question?
no, but this
They're
is
wearing
like,
khakis and
this
white
is-
socks. I can't question them. They're so earnest.
it's not my fault that they're like
Yeah.
dressed up.
People were also much more gullible back then.
They're wrong.
What was
about
that, Carolyn?
That's
I
fake.
said people were much more gullible back then.
People are gullible, Karen said.
No, hey. Yes,
Yeah, that's true.
yes. But the rest of the world thinks that these people are you, not the rest of the world. And I'm serious, right? Because they will say, well, okay, why do you say that this is gullible? Like that I'm buying into this with all this stuff, right? Versus, wait, there's all these pictures, but then you see like a few videos and you start having a conversation about, oh, does this look weird? What about this? And you're like, the earth is flat. Right? This is from the rest of the world, this is the point of view.
We don't go straight from this to the earth is flat. This is only about, can we question NASA? There's a long.
Here we go. Here we go.
This is like
And this is
day one,
happening
day
1,000
two.
miles out away from the Earth. In
That's
space.
pretty cool.
This is supposed to be inflating in space.
This is inflating in space 1,000 miles out.
Awesome.
Just believe.
No tests. We just
Can
did
this
it right
happen
the
in
first
vacuum?
time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
First
they
time, no problem.
somewhere on Earth, right? They had
They don't
vacuum
claim to have
chambers and
tested
stuff.
it. They claim this is their first one.
Would it be necessary to make it helium if you're 500 miles out? I mean,
I think all it needs is an
And if
airplane
it was
and
500 miles
Universal
up before
Studios
helium,
I
logo.
mean
how
1,000
the
miles
hell
out.
did they get it to come back down?
No, it was actually 1,000 miles up, Karen.
Okay, 1,000
I would
miles.
say 500 miles to handicap myself on how ridiculous it sounded.
Actually, I don't even know. Honestly, like, I think all of you know a lot more about space than I do. And I'm learning so much. And NASA too. I've never even visited. I've never been to JPL. And we operate. Caltech operates JPL. I've never even
Can
visited.
I make a suggestion where, like, I think it would be really interesting if you did go on a tour of JPL, because I went on a tour. I took my Flat Earth meetup group on a tour of JPL, and I expected it to be like really convincing and kind of scary that we would be there and questioning. When I went there, it was cheesier than Disneyland. It nuts and bolts and tarp. Things that were supposed to go into space were made out of nuts and bolts and tarp
That is true.
and gold tinfoil.
Yes.
And
Yeah, let's get a. Yeah, have you looked at a high-res image of the lunar lander?
They answered very few, but like I would ask them a lot of questions. I asked them, for example, how do you get fresh air in the ISS? They said special filter. I said, where can I research this special filter? Don't know.
Okay, but you can go online and probably find it.
That would be amazing if you know how to research that.
Oh, really? I mean, I don't know if it is like, but
It's not.
I'm not talking about the
It's
specific like proprietary filter they developed, but it's more about like a filter that can allow you to have fresh air like in extreme environments.
If there is such a filter, why are we not using it for all sorts of people who have bad air? Or why are we not taking underwater?
You mean like of low, are you talking, because up there, the problem is more like you don't have, so you have air, you have oxygen tanks and all that stuff, right? But you don't have fresh air, meaning from the earth or something like that, right? So are you saying that you need to filter it in case there's issues in microbes or what?
You need breathable air for however many people on the ISS all day long, every day. They don't have that in the payload. They're not bringing up that amount of oxygen or breathable air.
I see. So you're saying, how do they recycle it?
Yes.
How do they recycle it? Okay.
And they say they do it with a filter.
That captures potential carbon monoxide and then like turns it into like, okay.
That filter does not exist on Earth. For all the conditions, people in mines, people going underwater, every reason, greenhouse effect.
That's a very good point. I mean,
If it does exist.
Yeah, that'd be like, because so far I've only seen like developed for NASA on like, the late night whatever stuff. Like you can buy it now too. Whatever.
There is no real world filter like this. We can't find this filter that turns our exhales into breathable air.
It could also be, here is my suggestion, right? It could also be that this filter does exist and specifically is developed scientifically for very specific extreme situations like that, but it's so freaking expensive that if you were to use that for anything else, it would cost you $1 million to put it or more, right? For that like material.
That's
and then you're like, and then mining companies don't freaking care about their people anyway. Let alone like, oh, let me give you fresh air.
Or the ISS is really in a neutral buoyancy to achieve the water from the outside.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Karen,
Say
can you
again,
say that
Karen, please?
again? I cannot.
I said,
hear that.
or the ISS is actually in a neutral buoyancy lab underwater and it's being fed oxygen from outside from the Earth's atmosphere.
That's a possibility.
So
Hey,
can somebody mind just bring us up an image of ISS, like a green screen kind of anomaly? I'd love to,
I have a quick question. How does light from a star propagate hundreds of light years away without violating the inverse square law of light?
What is the inverse square law of light? You brought this up twice now. What do you mean by that?
The inverse square law, where it's basically that the light spreads out, and the further that it goes, the more the weaker that it dissipates, right? So how does light from billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of miles away propagate through space in a vacuum without violating the inverse square law?
It does not violate it. You're absolutely right. Like you're talking about what is called the intensity of light, right? That as it is growing, like it goes outwards, usually from like a spherical, like a star and stuff.
We shoot a laser across the laser.
Sure, it goes wider and wider, yes. But you're still going to get hit by the stuff that is like directly in front of you. And a bunch of other stuff on an angle, aperture, right, an angle that still hits you. And so, yes, it makes sense. I mean, otherwise everything would be like, you wouldn't be able to see anything, right? And indeed, there's a lot more stars out there, a lot more lights that we don't even get to see because of what you're saying. Because as it disperses, it ends up hitting a bunch of other stuff in between, and we don't even know that they exist. And sometimes in order for us to see, we have to really go out there and look at it from a very different angle. Like, oh, it was hiding behind of another planet or another like massive star or whatever.
So the closest star,
Let's say of sun.
you know how far it is? How many miles?
Are we talking about Andromeda Galaxy right now or something else?
It's Vegas.
Vega? Okay. I told you guys know more about space than I do. I'm a down to earth
Do you know how many miles away it is from the Earth hole?
Yes. How many light years are we talking about or light miles?
Break it down to miles.
Breaking it down to miles.
Yeah.
26 trillion miles. That's the closest.
So let's just do some simple math.
I mean, we're talking about distances that you can't even fathom, and you think that light is really traveling that far?
Yes, of course. Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't believe it. I don't believe it.
You can't imagine a million miles.
Yeah, well, 26 trillion miles.
Oh, that's like, why wouldn't
The only reason that these stars are placed at such a far distance is because that's the only way that they can account for there being no stellar parallax. That's the only reason they place the stars as far away as they are. So they place these stars at ridiculous distances away, and then they tell you that you can still see it, and that the only reason that there's no parallax is because they're so far. I mean, it's ridiculous.
She's saying that they say the reason they're so far is because that's the only way that they can explain the fact that there's no parallax.
Yes, constellations don't lose cohesion.
That it's that far because it is just a guess. That because that's the only way that there could be no parallax if everything is moving.
What was that, Jerry?
Okay. I mean, that sounds right.
I'm just saying, like, according to the mainstream records, constellations like Orion have not lost cohesion in thousands of years. We're supposed to be moving all these speeds. Those stars are moving at speeds as well, and they all keep their same position. Year after year after year, none of the constellations have lost cohesion. There's no parallax.
I mean, first of all, I think that, I don't know, over thousands of years there have been astronomers from the ancient Greeks, Egyptians, and others, right, that they were like trying to take, all this stuff into account. It's actually based exactly on all this data and how things have moved maybe a little bit relative to each other, but not that much. And if there's these tiny movements, right, we're like, all right, we're starting to create a geometry of the sky. So it's not that crazy that things may not be moving that much, but they have moved a lot more, say, over 1 million years, right? And at some point, it is interesting that at some point, like 100,000 years or 1 million years from now, we'll look up at the sky, our like, future people, and then it will be black.
but that's amazing.
For what Karen is saying, no, I mean, like, for
Right.
sure, that this will be the case. That
Well,
you will not be able to see it Okay, all right.
Since
It's epsilon, you know, this would be the case.
since you've joined us, Spiros, the Earth and the planets have moved 1.2 million miles through the Milky Way just in the time you've been sitting here with us.
What do you mean?
Since the time you've been sitting here with us, the sun, pulling all of the planets with it, has moved through the Milky Way 1.2 million miles.
What do you mean by that? Who did this
In
calculation?
the past 2 hours, that's how far the sun has traveled through the Milky Way, carrying all the planets in the solar system with it. 1.2 million miles.
660,000 or
660,000
So you're saying, oh,
miles.
Just in the time you've been here. Now you just exponentially increase this by thousands of years, and none of these constellations have lost their shapes at all.
yes. So let me ask you something. If the whole room here, all of us, right?
Yeah.
Were to move together, as we are right now, at 100 miles an hour, right? From wherever you guys are sitting, would you be able to tell?
Yes.
No.
You betcha.
They would not be able to tell because relative to us, they're in the same position.
You have.
We're all moving together really fast. It's not just the
I
sun.
can see the water in the glass showing evidence of.
See, but here's the thing, though. We're not all moving together. It's supposed to be an expanding universe, right? Everybody's going their own direction. We're not all
Sorry.
moving together.
Repeat that again, Karen.
I said, but we're not all moving together. Us and the stars, it's expanding, right? Is the universe supposed to be expanding? Then we're not all moving together.
Kenneth, I think, you're absolutely right, but that expansion you're talking about is infinitesimal relative to what I'm hearing about the speeds. Relative to what? Think about it this way, right? When you're saying, and you're correct to say that the sun is moving so fast, okay, and all the other stars are moving so fast, but around what are they moving so fast? And why are you saying like that this is special? Because if Nathan and I are running, right, at 100 miles an hour, okay, and you're running at 105 miles an hour, it won't just be like or actually we're 10 meters apart, but we are both traveling at 100 miles an hour. Did you ever see from outside that we're like moving relative to each other? No, we just be moving. Relative to you, we're moving very fast, but relative to each other, we're like in exactly the same constellation, the same geometry, and all that stuff.
Frame of reference you're speaking of.
We are kind of moving.
Frame of reference.
We are exactly, and we're moving. Maybe it's not, you're moving at 100 miles and 1 meter an hour, and I'm moving at 100 miles. So like very slowly, you're seeing some drift. You're absolutely right. We have seen that drift, and this was what made Einstein lose his mind. It was what is called the cosmological constant in his theory that says the universe somehow itself is expanding. What is even more mind-blowing about that is what the hell is it expanding into, and what is coming? What is stretching? Right? What exactly is stretching? Is it just that the planets are moving away and everything is moving away from each other, right? And that's not the case, it turns out. There's something weirder going on, because otherwise, why are we not just also slowly expand ourselves?
That's a very good point. Maybe we're not expanding.
So there's something.
Your premise is that we're both moving.
Poncho, you ready to,
The premise that
Uber, then we got snack, then we got Poncho.
is that we're both
you
moving.
want to,
No, Kenny, we got Uber first.
Based on that
Uber's
premise,
got to explain
That's
that.
different from that one.
yeah, the premise is that we're both, okay, but the problem is there's no evidence. There's no empirical evidence that we are.
Uber's got a little
are.
Uber's got a little footage to show us, and then we're gonna have a few or some snack, and then we're gonna have Poncho.
I mean, we know.
Sorry, what we got here, Uber?
I need it.
That's the issue.
Yes.
Uber's going
Uber's got a few words.
Yes.
Then we have snack, then we have Poncho.
Okay. I have 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Real quick before I change Water World, man. About your balloon in space. This is a helium balloon in a vacuum, and it only takes a second for you to watch it expand like crazy, and then it pops. Okay.
How many
And
tours?
it's not even a full vacuum because apparently what they tell us with the vacuum chambers that we have here on Earth, we're not even getting to what's equivalent to the vacuum in space.
Yeah. No, I
Right?
agree. That's the case.
So-
Like the vacuum space is
So
more
why
vacuum.
is it popping on Earth in this vacuum, but that balloon that we were talking about earlier wouldn't pop in that vacuum?
Yes. So you're saying this is a helium balloon?
Right.
Yeah, it's helium.
No, it's different. Like, is it this helium balloon or is it a balloon?
It's helium in a balloon.
Okay.
Okay.
So this
And-
is the kind of balloon that would just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it says it's a helium balloon. I trust you actually. So let me just say that.
Yeah.
I trust you, right? So
Well, check this out. So you can tell by the beginning of the video, okay, because the balloon's not sitting on the bottom of the jar, dude. It's floating.
no, I mean it's in a vacuum. So
Well, yeah, and it's in a.
it's in a vacuum, which means that the reason why it's floating, it's placed. It doesn't move from where it is.
It's not vacuum yet, though.
You know what? Dude? It's not a vacuum yet for one. He just turned it on. It's floating before he turns the vacuum on.
And the other thing that I believe it's a helium because I think it starts floating to the top, right? When like the vacuum appears.
Yeah. But okay, so screw that. That was just dealing with you and balloons in space.
Let's see what, and we got,
Now, what I really wanted to talk to you about real quick is some reasons why we don't like the ISS footage and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's because that shows us. I'm gonna date you a little bit right now. Have you ever seen the movie Waterworld with Kevin Costner?
Waterworld?
Yeah, Waterworld.
Oh, of course I have. The Universal Studios is the one show I go to every time, and this is probably how they recouped probably some of the money from the movie.
My wife graduated.
Oh wow.
Is she really?
Okay, she was the one dancing with the wolves.
so let's see, Uber's finished.
Here's the problem that we have with the stuff that they show us is they're showing us that we live on Waterworld right now, man. There's no land at all right here. And then you just keep playing the video
Yeah.
and they show other parts of it and there's no land. There's been times where we've pulled up video straight or been watching the ISS live stream and the whole Earth is nothing but water.
Can you let it roll, Uber, so we can see?
Zip through it.
Yeah, can we see some of that where you're saying that you can clearly see it's just water versus just a bunch of mountain ranges or stuff that you can clearly see whether they're like there or not?
Yeah.
Because there's also like all these other footage you have shown me where it's clearly land and then there's the clouds.
Okay, this one is a little bit bad because it's got freaking clouds on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of clouds. Just clouds.
There's a lot of clouds and a lot of.
And they've gone through a lot of trouble
But look,
to be realistic.
they're up for hours. Okay.
I think I Hollywood down there.
Water.
Yeah, this seems like a bunch of land over there to me, right?
you
On the
see
outer
land?
like middle. Yeah.
But I don't see.
I got this trumped.
From that far away everything's blue.
Wait, hey, Brittany, you got a better one?
Ah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's the one. Jimmy's gonna show us something.
Yeah, massive.
Go ahead.
Now forget Waterworld. You're a Star Wars fan. Do you like Empire Strikes Back?
Star Wars fan, Empire Strikes Back.
Sure, yes.
Here we go.
Yep. All right. Well, here's the Empire approaching planet Hoth. It's an ice age apparently on the Earth, or we're approaching planet Hoth. Apparently, a couple of continents have frozen in the ice age, or we can see through clouds somehow.
World map is
No,
telling
no, no,
us.
no, no. This is like, let's think of it again.
Time out.
Imagine that I'm the only person who believes in flat Earth right now, and you're all globies, and you're trying to convince me that this is the Earth. Where would you say this is taking place?
in
In the
our.
ice age.
I
In
mean,
the ice age.
maybe it's not even Antarctica. Like maybe it's just a bunch of freaking dense clouds, or I
They
don't
never
know.
This
show
is one hell of a storm.
That's like
Do they
the,
have a description?
half of the freaking
Earth
moon.
is
Do
the
you
white
see the
marble,
curve?
the blue marble.
Do you have a description to that?
Is there a description on that, Jim?
That says what was
There's not even
absolutely.
enough water in
This
the
is from
atmosphere
the
to account for having that many clouds. The atmosphere is only like 3% water.
This is the
That doesn't
ESA
even make
Soyuz VSO-7 Sentinel-1A launch and separation, and it goes through the entire process. This is the part where they launch Tidy Bowl into the ocean. And notice the color of the ocean, and there's after the Tidy Bowl, and we've got now nice blue. So that's fine, but here's Planet Hoth, aka Earth,
So let me ask you
launching this is launching the Sentinel.
how is it that the first part of the video is fine, but somehow then they end up being like, oh, now I'm going to pretend we're going to show something that's clearly going to trip people up. They're like, oh, we just made this shit up, right? Why would they have the first half that makes sense, and then the second half, like, this is an ice world.
Because people believe it. They don't ask questions. Nobody asks
This
questions.
was an issue with the water. Like,
Well, there is a time jump, not a severe time jump, but there is a time jump. There is a timer in the corner here, you can tell. And this is a more condensed version of the entire video. It's 45 minutes long. This is
Yeah.
more a condensed version. But I just wanted to highlight Planet Hoth.
So where is the video? Is this the original video?
This is a more condensed version of the original. It's
What
sped up
video?
in some spots.
Isn't the original video as this
The
is
original video is about 45 minutes long. It's on the ESA's website, and this is the it's launched from 2014.
the special effects that we
Oh,
have.
have you seen China's space footage? It's so propagandic.
I mean, China. It's like, you know, China. It's probably they probably put like a Chinese flag on the earth.
All right, Snack.
This is
Snack.
great. I just want to say it's
Snack
really,
has some,
yeah. It's I've got a little bit of a video.
she'd like Judy and Uber, that was amazing. Snack's got some words he'd like to share with us, and then we're gonna have a little bit
Yeah,
of info
awesome.
from.
Let me see if I can figure this out technically. While I try
and then
to
we're gonna
do that,
everybody else.
I'll take a second to just say how interesting it is. I just want to say how
What is time anyway?
I just want to say how interesting it is that you're searching for. Hello?
She's gonna bend me.
Hi guys. Hey guys. Hey, how's everybody?
Snack, are you there?
Yeah, am I
I'm gonna
hearable?
get Snack.
No.
Snake, are you there?
Snack, I know you got a killer quote to share.
I'm
and I
not
want you
sure
to
what happened here. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh goodness. All right. Well, that kind of threw me off my stride for a second. I just wanted to say, or I was trying to say that I find it maybe humorous that you're searching for conspiracy in videos that we're showing you that have absolutely no doctoring, because they look so fake. You're feeling that we've done something to them. I just want to move on now, if I can just say that. And I'll move on to, I guess, my first quote here, which is a Robert Feynman quote. It says, science...
Hold on, Snack.
May I for a second? So, you're right in your comment with respect to the first video, not of today, but like of a week ago or something like that. So that's because of something internal that happened, right? And I need to know if it was like
I
direct.
understand.
Apparently,
I understand that. I think in the last video, though, you're not sure if we doctored it to make it look ridiculous.
oh no, that's not, no, sorry, I didn't mean that. I wanted to see context, like where was it, how was it traveling, right? You know, and what did it look like until it hit that place? I wanted to get an idea of where on Earth were we looking at.
Okay.
Right? That's
All right, sorry, my mistake.
I mean, I knew that this was genuine footage from NASA. It just, I was like, I don't know where they're looking.
Right on. I was just trying to, like, the other day I was, like, looking for some information on elliptical geometries and things like that, as it's kind of maybe, you know, something I'd like to know more about. I frequently enjoy researching things that I don't know about and learning. I ran across that video, and then I kind of ran into some Robert Feynman quotes, and you'll be familiar with Robert Feynman, I'm sure.
You mean Richard?
Right, a Caltech physicist, Nobel Prize winner, Robert
right.
Feynman. says that the science is the belief in the ignorance of experts. I found that to be a really interesting quote, and it made me curious about Robert Feynman because I think it must be someone who is very objective who can say something like that. I went on to find a video that really, as I was kind of looking at other material, quotes and things like that, and I found that this video really sums up, had a few different quotes that I had found, and I was like, man, you know what, maybe I could just play this video. If you don't mind, I'd like to just play this in full. It's about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I found it to be wholesome and full of nutrition for the mind. I found it to be something I can look towards. Even being a flat earther, right? I do take inspiration from great minds, as this is called, Great Minds, Great Words, from BBC. So let me put this play real quick.
Do it up, man.
By the way, before you play the video, can I say something? I am very close friends with Richard Feynman's daughter, who apparently lives like 5 minutes from here,
Wow.
from where we are.
Invite her over.
And
Oh, we should have.
That's great. That's great.
Something an incredible woman herself. Her dad was obviously very brilliant. I put 2 big, conferences and public events actually at Caltech in his honor. He turned 100 years old in May 11th of this year, so we had to do a big event. And I do what I love about Feynman, even though he was like kind of an ass in many ways to other people and kind of had a way of looking down on others. He was also one of the most kind minds out there that put his words out there for the world to see. Right?
I really, yeah. I'm glad you said that, and yeah, I do have an appreciation for his words, and I find inspiration in them for what I do and what I research in, and I find it interesting that probably we both do. And let me just play this real quick.
Thank you.
Let's see if this.
We expected science to give all the answers to the wonderful questions. So hard. Then I think you could easily become disillusioned and then look for some mystic answer to these problems.
Okay, there's no way that you're hearing that, right?
Exploring and trying to find out as much as we can about the world. People say to me, "Are you looking for the ultimate laws of physics?"
Am I even sharing this yet? I'm sorry. I'm a little.
You're not
Maybe send it to somebody who can share it.
Because we have
Hold on. Yeah, it's a
Send it to Poncho. He's got the OBS sound.
Okay.
Is Artist still awake? Artist is like, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning for us.
Artiste has been working.
I'm still awake.
Yeah, before you leave.
This is too interesting to fall asleep by.
What is it, Artist?
He said this is too interesting.
Oh man, this is so tough for me right now. Uber, can you send the link to Poncho so you can present it?
Yeah, is it from BBC? Is one of the interviews he did?
Put it in the back trap.
Yeah, I can't even get into Google Hangouts right now, bro.
I mean, I actually have it, I think.
Okay.
Hold on.
We're gonna be.
We need
Swap up copyright.
If we need to, I can play it on my phone.
Go get it. We need the.
Yeah, maybe do that so we don't copyright
Yeah,
on the
it's so
YouTube.
old. It's from 1988. I'll if anybody has the link, I don't know.
That's literally right before.
Here, I'll give it to the people.
Put it in the chat or something if everybody wants to watch it.
1988.
Oh, I was in your freaking research. There we go.
Yes.
And what did that consist of?
Well, I mean, so I told they asked me so many things about my life, about my research, about outreach and stuff. And then I said I met really
Here you go, Pete.
yes, I met crazy people, some really good, interesting people. And they have a society around the idea that the earth is flat, right? And we're like, how do you expect
Expected science to give all the answers to the wonderful questions.
what are we missing on? And we're like, well, you have them,
So
right? You're
that I think you could easily become disillusioned and then look for some mystic answers.
and you try to
Exploring, we're trying to find out as much as we can about the world. People say to me, "Are you looking for the ultimate laws of physics?" No, I'm not. I'm just looking to find out more about the world. And if it turns out there is a simple ultimate law that explains everything, so be it. That would be very nice to discover. If it turns out it's like an onion with millions of layers and we're just sick and tired of looking at the layers, then that's the way it is. But whatever way it comes out, its nature is there and she's going to come out the way she is. And therefore, when we go to investigate it, we shouldn't pre-decide what it is we're trying to do, except to find out more about it. And so altogether, I can't believe the special stories that have been made up.
All right,
Thank you.
whatever.
About our relationship to the universe.
So we can just hear it from here, maybe, and it's right there.
Yeah, I just closed the window. I don't know. You guys weren't.
You know what? I can play it on my phone,
Okay.
and you guys will see it. I'm gonna play it on my phone right now. Okay.
All right, that sounds great.
PPC Horizon, yeah. 19, yeah.
Expect science to give all the answers to the questions of what we are, where we're going, what the meaning of the universe is, and so on. And I think it could easily become the solution for some mystic answers to these problems. We're exploring and trying to find out as much as we can about the world. People say to me, are you looking for the ultimate laws of physics? No, I'm not. I'm just looking to find out more about the world. And if it turns out there is a simple ultimate law that explains everything, so be it. That would be very nice to discover. If it turns out it's like an onion with millions of layers and we're just sick and tired of looking at the layers, then that's the way it is. But whatever way it comes out, its nature is there and she's going to come out the way she is. And therefore, when we go to investigate it, we shouldn't pre-decide what it is we're trying to do, except to find out more about it. And so altogether, I can't believe the special. To believe. I can live with doubt and uncertainty and not knowing. I think it's much more interesting to live not knowing than to have answers which might be wrong. I have approximate answers and possible beliefs and different degrees of certainty about different things, but I'm not super sure of anything. And then many things I don't know anything about. But I don't have to know an answer. I don't feel frightened by not knowing things. By being lost in a mysterious universe without having any purpose, which is the way it really is as far as I can tell possible. It doesn't frighten.
Nice.
Very good.
I have listened to this 100 times before of also putting together these events, because I had to come up with, we tried to actually bring him back to life, right? Using a whole hologram. And so I helped develop a hologram.
You guys did a Tupac hologram?
That's right.
For fun?
One of my friends is the guy who created the Xbox, and so I worked with him to create a hologram of Feynman to say words like this, to inspire the next generation, and so on and so forth. So yes, I completely appreciate
I think there's
the
a lot
genius of this man. And he was laying it on hard on religion right there.
Yeah,
But you can take it also as skepticism. Right, and being skeptical, but also being curious and not knowing is very, very important, right? So I can see we're coming from different universes. You can think of it that way, even though we come from the same universe, right? And we all grew up thinking that the Earth is a globe and so on and so forth. And our paths diverged at some point, right? And my point is this, from my point of view, that whether we converge or not to the right answer is not important to me. But whether we converge to the same way of thinking about how the world works and how to figure out how the world works, right? That may be more interesting. And even that doesn't have to be the case. We don't all have to think the same way to get to the same place, right? In fact, my whole research is telling me there is beauty and power in being able to see the world from many different points of view. This is the foundation of all quantum physics, that what I described like a few times ago, that you're looking at exactly the same thing as I am, but from a different point of view, not within space and time, some more fundamental change of point of view, that you're like, how could you be seeing something different from me? It's because my point of view is just different from you. That's it, right?
Everybody sees something different because nobody has the same.
Of course.
Sam?
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Sam,
wanna
do you
say
want
too-
to say some like concluding
Yeah,
concluding
no,
words about your
I mean,
sharing,
part
sharing that
three.
video?
maybe. There's some there's some
You know,
other
can't
quotes
hear
by
you,
him
bro.
that
Can I hear you?
really detail some other things.
Anybody?
I felt like that was
Snack, are
such
you
an.
there?
Is anybody?
Am I not muted? Am I muted?
Snack is here.
If there was
He's
another
muted, but
quote
we can't
after
hear you.
that that I
Snack
was
is
hoping
muted, we can't
after
hear you.
that I was
Snack at the
hoping to
moment.
find because that was I
Snack.
found that
We
so
can't hear you if you're
open-minded.
talking.
Am I glitching out?
Zach, I know you got some follow-up commentary.
Am I silent?
Yes, he rejoined a couple of times, so I think
Can
he
anybody
has
hear me?
technical difficulties a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna take a leap here, and I'm gonna speak for Snack because I know that we talked about this footage earlier, and I don't even know if he's gonna say this. I'm
Which
gonna
one was
say the footage that we just watched with Feynman.
Ah, yes, fine.
So I'm gonna say this not his way but my way, but that who is gonna question at that level now from the scientific world?
I am.
You are,
Oh, way beyond Feynman.
and Nathan, and
Yeah.
Kenny,
Yeah.
and Jai,
Yeah.
and me, and everybody on the panel. That we love what he's saying, and we love admitting that we don't know, and doing everything we can with that openness.
So I want to say something, a retort to the retort, if it is a retort, whatever, right? Never retort. Because we have to be honest with ourselves, all of us here, right? No matter how skeptical we are, we cannot live life with pure skepticism. Period, right? And I am the person that all science fears, right? Even from the first meeting here, I told you there's a fundamental flaw in science. And it was actually the opposite of what you thought. Fundamental flaw in science is that it relies on observation, which relies on what is possible to observe, right? From your point of view, relative to what is truly possible to observe, from all possible points of view, okay? So you could always create theories only that can explain things that are possible for you to observe relative to what truly is, okay? Right? Now, how does this affect flat Earth versus globe and so on and so forth? What is possible for you to observe right now? Can you observe the curvature of the Earth? I mean, maybe with some experiments or something. Other people have said. Other people have said it, right? Good. So, yes. Yes. Now, what if you had a different point of view? You, right?
You know
you
we're
could
not.
zoom out.
Let's get Poncho.
And you could zoom out, right? So from a different point of view, you may have a completely different answer that would be like, how the hell does this make sense relative to what I had all my life? It was flat, 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 flat. Everywhere I am, it's flat, right? That's one way. And maybe one way to be flat is for everything to be flat. Just like there's no curvature relative to the flat-like surfaces you've seen. Or it could be like, different or whatever. But to me, what he's talking about, right, is there are certain things, certain atoms of truth that we have that we rely on and we build upon them. And even he had to do that. Right? You may be saying what he's saying, but he developed the theory of how light works. And if you were to tell him, any one of us, oh, that's bullshit, you better be really good at telling him why this is BS.
We're not
why his
throwing-
theory is like,
We're not,
I'm just
we're
saying.
not throwing out everything.
No,
We're
sure.
throwing out something we can't verify when we try to verify it.
But what about his theory of quantum electrodynamics? Have you thought about it? This is a very important one that tells you how to see stuff and so on and so forth.
Can we smell it? Can I observe?
So then he would say, like, to you, you're right. You can't see, you can see maybe effects and
would
stuff.
tell me, you don't know the math, you will never understand.
It's provable to
That's what he would tell me.
Let me just try one more mic check. I don't know if this is working again.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Snack.
You do?
Oh,
Okay. The cyber gods are being very mean to me tonight. I wanted to just follow up, if I can, just one more, because honestly, if I can just get the words out, I just thought that there was like such a open-mindedness to him that I wonder if he had considered flat Earth at all. And I just showed a quote on my stream that he basically, to surmise it, because I don't think I can bring it up again. I dare not challenge the cyber gods right now, but his computer will probably crash. But
Weird flat earth.
the basic quote is that science has designed a more creative and imaginative way to describe the universe than all of the artists and poets combined.
Yes.
And also that of like the flat Earth, I don't know, the more whatever the four elephants on a tortoise's back in a bottomless sea. So he had considered these old cosmologies. He had considered different modes of understanding, and I guess if there was something I wanted to just finish up with here, it would be that flat Earth to me is as much of a valid theoretical context for discovery and research as any quantum theory, heliocentric model, you name it. To me, I think that it is, and I hope that in time you may grow to feel the same, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Poncho, you're at.
Poncho, what do you got, baby?
Okay. Snack, you need to give me my OBS back. Screen share and the other one.
Poncho, I got you presented, man.
Yeah, it's not going to do it though because you've got the OBS.
No, he said no. I asked him.
I was so surprised. Do I have already?
I'm having trouble hearing Poncho. I'm sorry.
He said that you got the OBS, Snack.
You've got the OBS. You can't present me. I've got to present myself.
He's going to present himself.
Okay. I have you highlighted.
Yeah, but it still won't do it because I'm on OBS screen. Look, if I swap my screen, it's not going to fade in.
You do for Hangouts, maybe? Screen share with Hangouts?
Cyberbug.
Cyber guys connected with big blows.
I don't know what to. What can I? Is there something I can do? I don't know what I can do.
Well, the OBS is screen sharing your screen, not mine.
And maybe you can Snack and present it, and you can talk over
No,
the
he
top of
can't present it because it's me. He can't present me because it's my OBS.
Okay, but
okay. Can
When
you
you're
go
being
into
presented here, all you have to do
from
is share.
Hangouts?
While we've got a minute.
You're being presented in Hangouts, Poncho.
Just screen share from Hangouts, and you should be good.
Just screen share now, regular.
I can't screen share the screen. OBS.
No, this is right. This is our imaginary.
is it not the possibility that somebody else actually shares the footage, and you talk over the top of it?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Here we go.
There's another way to.
Okay.
You're supposed to use the panel controls.
Oh, there's
No, I've got. I know what I'm doing. That's what I want.
last time you asked.
Hey, now there, can you see me?
Yeah.
How can the ice be?
Full screen no look. I have to do that.
Yeah, this is.
It seems like, wherever the
Yeah,
light
make
is
it
not
very
hitting,
broad,
it's like,
Yeah.
cold. It's like Game of Thrones, the ice one.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's that screen.
Oh, you should use the OBS virtual cam then, Poncho.
No, it doesn't work. You've got OBS.
No, virtual cam will still
Anyway, I'm in space. I'm in space. I'm in space. About stars being millions of miles away. How come I never see them when I'm in space? Look, they're never there. I have this problem when I'm in space. So, where is it? There we go.
In space?
I'm in space, yeah. So I can just move myself. Oh,
No, be at that place in space.
oh it's that.
We're trying.
There you go.
Don't do this to
So I
yourself.
could be an astronaut if I want. Looks.
You get balls back.
Easy. Oh, not me. So there was a speech that killed him, apparently. And, he said there's a plot to enslave every man, woman, and child, and before he leaves his office, he intends to expose his plot. 7 days later, he was dead. His speech composed of, it would illuminate dimensions over the horizon, the gravity of the sphere. It was flat earth, we believe. Everybody's mocking me because I think the world's flat. I don't think I know it's flat because of water. And, oh, there we go.
Who is this handsome guy?
Is that you?
Why are you hiding his face?
I know why I'm doing this. Can you see what I'm showing? Oh, you can see it. I'm doing two things at once.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I'm going to be here, look. I'm going to be your new friend, look. We're going to be best friends. Bez is me and you. Okay?
That's Stanley.
Poncho P. Come with PP if you like. So let's go back. Oh, God.
Hey, Spiros, there's a International Flat Earth Convention, a conference in Denver, November 15th and 16th. You should go.
You should
Next week?
Oh, yeah.
We can get you Thursday and Friday.
You should go. You want to?
I can hook you up. I can get your ticket.
We'll get you
Get
there.
there.
I'm going to be Vancouver, then Washington, D.C., flying back. Friday, I have something Friday. Thursday, I have to figure out, I have a couple of meetings. But anyways,
What day is it? What day is it?
Friday, 15th and 16th of November.
Hang on, Punch.
Okay. No, we're taking it away. Shush, Kevin. My turn, Kevin, baby. Okay. Spiros, the railgun, fires on a flat earth trajectory.
Yes.
Just like a bullet. Not like artillery,
Yes.
but like a bullet. Because it's fast. Boom. Not artillery. Atoms. I've never seen one. I can't get a photo of one.
Yeah. It's a good
So
thing.
I can't see one. Next one. The rotation of the Earth. At 12 o'clock and 12 o'clock, I would feel a downward drift, surely, and an upwards, forgetting about all the spinning all over momentum. 190 miles away. Oh, it's on there.
It's beautiful.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, gosh, it's jumped.
So it's the ad. So
It's the ad. It's okay. It's a beautiful watch.
There we go.
Go do it again.
There we go.
Jake Tolan. And it shows no curvature at all.
Wait.
How many
okay.
miles? How many miles?
So,
The next one was
100 miles.
up to 1,000 miles away.
How much curvature?
how
much
high is
curvature?
this again?
35,000 feet.
Okay.
3,000 feet.
What to be? It even looks like a little bit more like this.
8 inches per mile
Right.
away.
But do you?
It's a plane.
Jai's got a chart of curvature.
Can you show me a video of this?
Yeah.
This is the video, yeah.
No, where is it? Sorry. Because remember, I showed you a video, right?
Yeah, we can bring it up.
So this is a very important one here. This is very important. Like, I almost want to end with this. I sent a video, like, for all of you to watch, and I wanted to hear your thoughts, right, quickly before we end, because that video showed obvious curvature as the thing is going up. Then at some point, something interesting happened. It went flat, then it went like negative curvature, then back to regular curvature, then like flat, and it kept
Yeah,
like
went concave to convex to concave to convex. That's because it's a fisheye lens. Yeah.
So my question is this, right? Why do you believe that picture I just saw? You don't believe all the other pictures. Why do you believe that person you've never met?
Because you can always make a flat thing look round, but you can never make a round thing look flat.
And he actually,
Yes, of course. I just showed you, like in a video, as you're changing the angle of the lens, and I think maybe even Karen was the one that said, "I don't believe like the optics," right? Because of that.
Merle has. I spoke with Merle earlier about that fisheye lens footage. She has a lot of photography experience and film experience. I wonder, Merle, if you want to say a few words about that fisheye lens footage.
Yeah, sure. It's the lens and the lens only that distorts the horizon. if you have a 35mm lens or a wide angle, there's no distortion on the horizon because the horizon is level and flat. A horizontal line is what the word horizon derives from. It's not curving.
But I'm
The
seeing it.
fisheye lens is the curvature of the Earth. That's how they get it.
I mean, but here, this is like a very pronounced fisheye thing. You don't even need to go very far to see that there's a curvature, which is fake, even locally, like even 30 meters away from
Yeah,
you.
so do we live on a ball that big?
It's a function of the physical lens. Like there's a
Yes.
non-fissile lens.
Yes.
Distortion from
But I do want to say
will
this.
always give that.
Yes, yes,
that
of course,
back
of
and
course,
forth.
of course.
A regular lens, which is what some of these infrareds have been taken from a plane, it's a regular lens.
But what about the one
gentleman
that
that
was?
posted that video, he actually states, he gives you all the information from all of the gear that lenses.
This is, I'm
And
with you
he's
100%.
actually- He's very interactive.
Yeah.
You could go on his YouTube channel, ask him a question, he'll
Yes.
get back to you.
Yes.
This is not NASA. Like, we
No,
can't,
this is,
NASA. Like,
I mean,
that's-
I can ask
Oh,
myself.
Let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
Chris. When you
For
see
you guys
it,
too.
when you, no, don't tell that. When,
Before you have to go.
but, yeah, no, but let me just ask a question about that footage, because I watched the footage.
Yes.
So we see it curved like this.
Yeah.
And then we see it like this,
Yeah.
and then we see it curved like
We're
this.
talking about the one I sent you?
Yeah, the one you
yeah,
sent.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have, I looked at it several times, we have an exact, as far as my eye can tell, an exact inverse curve.
Correct.
So this is like an
I mean,
algebra.
it's not an exact inverse, but like, yes, the curvature, I mean, obviously it's not exact because it changes from positive to 0 to negative, so it doesn't have to exactly what I mean.
The negative is a mirror. The negative is
I stand by my comment. You can always make a flat surface look round, but you cannot make a round surface look flat.
I disagree, and I will prove it to you in
Prove
5
it.
seconds, okay?
Prove it.
Using exactly what you just told me, how can you make a flat surface look round?
With a fisheye lens.
There.
No, I mean,
Fisheye lens, bro.
You
no,
just
no.
saw it happen right
How
there.
small is the air, Spiros? How small is the air?
Think about like, this is.
Do we live on a marble? Like that's
This
a
is-
marble.
I'm saying something else. Use not the fisheye lens, the one that I showed, like, that I sent you from whatever the school experiment, whatever it was, right? Where like it's just going up and it's curved and it's curved. At some point, it starts moving, right? Because like I think it's when it explodes, right? Because of the reasons we discussed before of the pressure and stuff. And then it starts like vacillating, right? And as it's doing that, it ends up creating different curvature, like no curvature, negative curvature, regular curvature, whatever, and it's going like oscillating between these three phases, right? So it is possible by reversing, right? Imagine that you didn't know. You took a picture the moment it was pretty much flat, and you say, all right, it's flat here, right? I'm just showing it to you, and then
the experiment and do it together.
we could.
So
Yes, but
Let's do it together.
But in order for us to do the experiment, and for this to mean anything to this community, as Karen is saying, right, you need to be the ones to decide what lens to use.
Right, we do both.
Negative,
Right?
negative also.
Because if we use fish lens, we're gonna be like, it's gonna be wrong no matter what, because it doesn't matter. Like,
Well, of course, we would never do that.
I want to kind of end with
We're not ending, Kenny. Don't encourage ending.
Stop it.
Words have power.
Ready
Oh,
for
man.
the next one? Ready for the next one?
5 minutes.
Star trails.
We're gonna go.
Yes.
Go ahead, Fawn.
That's
Spinning
all.
in 4 different directions, as well as rotating, gyrating, and spiraling, but we get perfect circles.
Rotating. Yeah.
Perfect circles.
No, but like, it's the
So, observably, and it's repeatable and testable, they all spin in a circle.
Like if
And during that spin, they probably move 5 million miles.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the
Longest
sideways?
line of sight images.
It's a good thing also if they were too close to the turn.
443 kilometers, says from Andorra to Gap.
Anyways.
443-kilometer picture.
Do you
of
see that?
Mountain range should be 3 miles below the curve.
Wait, can we see?
Let's
Sorry, I
see
missed
that
completely. Like, it.
Can we see what you just showed again, Pancho?
Okay? This is Finstrels Andorra to Gap, 443 kilometers, 278 miles,
Yes.
line of sight.
Can you make that bigger?
Hunter, what is this location?
Yes. Where are we looking at? Sorry.
That's in France.
In France. And what is too large that wasn't supposed to be seen? What are we looking at?
Make the picture bigger in the distance.
In the distance. Is that the thing, the little thing there?
It's hard to see, Pancho.
So we
Yeah.
can see it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can we get a little math info, like how far it is and what kind of curvature there should be there?
Should be 3 miles.
Yeah, it's, you see that?
It's 3 miles. 3 miles of curve.
And are we only seeing then the very top of this mountain range?
See the whole mountain.
How do you know? From this picture, I can't see anything.
Well,
on the top.
it's low resolution.
What is the high resolution? That's key. Otherwise, like,
The picture-
because I've seen a picture of Poncho last time where he showed
How's
me
that?
a lighthouse, and it was only at the top third of the lighthouse
Yeah.
from not that far away. So clearly there's a curvature, right?
Well, not clearly.
So
There's
There you
atmosphere.
go.
It should be the other way
But there
around.
is. There-
No, I completely agree. I'm just saying like, we can work against it, right? Like,
Can you not make that?
See
full
this
screen?
image on the screen? She held a mirror
That's good, Pancho.
and
Okay,
saw
next one.
the
Next
mirror
one.
like
That's what I was-
flashing. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Peaks
I just.
10
on the
feet
blue screen.
on a blue screen.
This is a
Footage
this is
from,
an astronaut on the ISS
quote-unquote ISS.
that's behind in front of a blue screen. It's
Why are you
footage
saying it's the blue
captured
screen?
from.
What is that? Yeah.
There's footage captured when George.
This is supposedly where that guy is supposed to be on the ISS,
Yeah.
Yes.
but we have blue screen behind him.
Yeah. So
Well,
George
that's not-
Herbert Walker. Bush-
Usually it's a green screen, not a blue screen. That's
There's
more of
blue
a
screen and green
There's-
screen.
there's
They're both essentially the same thing. They're just different colors.
So yes, and why? What is this? Where are we?
See, this is what the picture
this?
on this side is what we see, but the picture on this side is the studio.
Can you send me a
Creating that
link to where
image.
that is?
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. What
Yeah,
is
this
that
is when-
link where
when,
we're looking at?
Ex-President George Herbert Walker
What else
Bush
you got, Punch?
went to NASA,
I like that
and
one.
as he was walking, they accidentally.
George Bush Senior.
That poncho
On
is
the
great.
left side.
Let's see some ISS stuff. Can you give us a
What do you got, Punch?
Can you give us a harness size?
Yeah, I've got that coming up. So the next one is the flight. South America to Perth. You should be able to fly under the ball and not go all the way up to Dubai and back on a flat earth map. It makes perfect sense why it takes so long to get there.
Why should we?
Okay, stop. Go back,
It's
Punch.
difficult to translate these.
Let's go back.
Go back one.
Somewhere a little bit's coming in.
Okay.
This one.
Maybe I should-
From Johannesburg, Africa. Southern.
Yeah, I understand. So what is the point
So
here?
further, all the flights go through Dubai.
So the point is
Rather
the shortest
than
distance.
straight across.
Why-
Wait, but what are you talking about? Shortest
This-
distance in a
so-
flat plane or in a
Yeah.
curved
So
plane?
it's comparing. It's saying.
So if it is like curved, then
if
it
it was
should be going through Dubai because Dubai is like right at the right arc, and arcs in a circle are much shorter than like trying to
You're
go
actually-
through like lines.
No,
right?
but you're flying north. You're going really far north to go back really down far south instead of flying straight across the Atlantic.
Okay.
So on a globe, that top part is what
Show
it looks
the
like,
flat
going
Earth
up and
one
down, and
there.
then on the flat Earth part
That's
is on the
what does that
bottom, and
look
it's
like? See
actually
the bottom of it?
it's actually a very obtuse angle, and it's
Yeah.
actually the closest thing to a straight line, and the fastest path between 2 points is a straight line.
Of course, yes.
So obviously,
I mean,
that makes
on
a
a
little bit
plane.
more sense. On a
So-
plane, yeah.
So, but why are you saying like? First of all, I haven't seen
So-
evidence that the flights always go through Dubai to go to Perth. But even if that's the case,
Yeah.
you know, have you ever researched? And this is a serious
Yeah,
question, by the way.
That's
No,
a
no.
big question.
Have you ever researched the following thing? Why would they do that?
So
That's my question. Now, it's a very simple question, right? I bet you in 5 minutes I could give you a good answer to why, even on a curved Earth where it may be longer, they may be doing that, right? Yes. Right, so- No, but seriously, right? And they may say like, okay, because of like, you know, wind issues, like all the stuff is made, like burn all the fuel if you're with go this way versus that way or whatever.
Sure,
right?
there are so many examples.
And more importantly, like every time, this is a more general thing. Every time you see that, don't go like, oh, they're faking.
Right.
Those bastards are
No, you
faking.
wanna
The
screen
very
that.
first question, when I get like memes on Facebook from my parents, from like other friends and whatnot, is like, did you know that Abraham Lincoln like did this and went to space and stuff, like weird shit like that, or like amazing coincidences? And I'm
They
like,
don't believe it.
I don't know. You just go directly to skeptic like thing with
Sure.
Snopes or whatever. And you're like, wait a minute, is this real? What are they doing? Did Einstein even live at that time, right? So immediately go like, why would they do that? But you must trust them at least the first 5 minutes of that life, right? And be like, all right, maybe they have a good reason. And then if the reason itself starts looking bullshit and all that stuff, you're like, all right, what is going on here?
Absolutely.
But do that.
Flights in the southern hemisphere was 2.5 years ago one of the main things that people did start to research.
Yeah.
So there's been a whole lot of exploration.
Ready?
Last one.
Ready, Pancho?
Next one.
Next one, baby.
Last one.
Give us the harness.
Coriolis.
Give me the good stuff.
Coriolis, baby.
Give me a harness. Give me a harness.
Bicycle.
30, this is a,
This guy is running for his life.
I'll tell you
Just
why.
learn there.
But he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be running for his life. The air's spinning. Coriolis.
You shot a bullet straight up in the air. 50 caliber.
Yes.
Straight up in the air. Took him almost 2 minutes to come back down. It landed almost directly on 2 minutes.
On top of the gun.
Should have been 30 miles away. On the Coriolis effect.
Coriolis effect. The spin of the earth just
Straight in the air, Randy.
Wait. I will ask you a very simple. Nope.
Come straight back down.
Incorrect. Here's a very simple experiment. Just landed right here.
We're
The earth has
stationary
moved
out
so
there.
much. No, this was not. This was like up in the air.
But your friends,
No, but you just. It's just like how did it not, come like fly out this
Give
way?
me a harness.
But the reason
Pancho, give me a
is
harness.
because again, it's relativity, right? Relative to everything else. Otherwise, we'd have like massive winds hitting us and all that stuff too, right? It has to be like, I mean, imagine anything, even like on the moon. If you believe the moon is actually spherical and moving or whatever, why isn't everything just
let me
exploding?
ask you this. Do you believe
Yeah,
that
but
they cracked
this bullet went up for 2 minutes, actually 2 seconds. That's the difference.
Of course it can. You can. If I suck a bottle, plastic bottle, right? And I cap it, and then I poke a hole in it, what happens? It's expensive.
I mean,
Why isn't the gravity not holding the air inside of that bottle? You follow me?
wait, you're sucking out the air?
I suck the air.
Yeah.
High pressure. I got a vacuum.
Or a better vacuum, yeah.
Like, poke a hole in it. What happens to the air? It's sucked in, right?
No, it gets.
Right. What is what?
So where is the gravity there? Why doesn't the gravity work in that experiment?
Well, what does the gravity have to do with that?
You say that gravity can control air.
Yes.
It can pull, it's so strong it can pull oxygen down.
Sure. I mean, but again, there's the
Right.
forces also of the atoms hitting themselves,
That's what
which
you
can be
say,
even stronger, like from
You got any
gravity. So
pictures
yeah.
of that? No.
Yeah, actually, there are pictures. Yeah, you can do it. We now have pictures of
You got
that.
pictures of
We can do that.
oxygen molecules hitting each other.
We can do. I mean, you can do videos of crazier stuff
You can't
already.
see oxygen. We were talking about that earlier.
Yes, you can.
Can I
By
see-
shooting light to it, like you can see exactly where it
You're
is
seeing
and how it's
light.
moving.
Are you seeing the oxygen?
That's just how we see everything. We don't even exist without like light. We turn off the light, right? We're not even here
What did
anymore.
God say? First say.
That was a man. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
So
Okay, you want to talk about light.
I want to talk about life.
But again, by the way, what I said before, right, Ponzo, you showed me that thing, right? This is a brother advice again. Right? You are seeing me as the authority of science and of being able to answer every single one of your questions.
No,
Yes?
no.
No, but think about it.
No, no,
Lord, yes.
no.
Can I
Can I just answer? He asked me. He did ask me.
Hold on.
No. But I want to say something. Because I stand by my comment. Why? Why do I stand by a comment? Not because I feel attacked. That's not it at all, right? Like, it's for a different reason. Because you have the same powers that I have, or maybe even better, right, so far, to go and research this. You asked me. You asked me. Poncho, right? Every single video you have shown me so far, you're like, how could this possibly be? I guarantee to you, again, like the previous bet I made, right? That there is someone out there who has already explored and given a satisfactory answer even for you.
You have a faith.
And now I will tell you
Faith
this.
That is not vetted.
Nathan, the first time, right, when you came to me and you said, all right, here's how I calculate the curvature of the Earth. Right? And I went to the website and I checked it out and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. They did their math, this is cool, and all that stuff, right? And I said, have you been to that link center to that website? They're talking the whole thread over like years or something, right? Where they are going back and forth, talking about flat Earth, talking about like, how could it be? Like, I've seen this, I'm trying to debunk it, right? We're trying to figure out like, why can you still see it? All the things you're telling me right now. Right. And there is like pages of that stuff where they have really convincing arguments, right? The question is, why haven't you seen those yet? Why have you seen only the arguments from the other side, but not the ones that say, oh,
this is a misconception.
I haven't talked about that. You're talking about those, not like,
It's a misconception to think that we don't do that. We didn't want to leave globe and go flat. We spent years exploring all the counter arguments. We scoured the internet. I went to science centers. I phone called all these institutions to find the counter arguments.
I want to ask you a very simple question then, right?
Yeah.
What is the counter argument for what we just saw, the flight? And not like the fact that it falls down pretty much where it is. Tell me the counter argument.
Couldn't find one.
I disagree. I will ask you. Each one of you here, right? This is your homework and my homework. I'll do that too, right? We'll go tonight and figure out how they explain this. Okay?
We love it.
That'd be great.
If the Earth is rotating and all that stuff, what is their version of the truth?
Archer, go ahead.
My answer, yeah. I don't think you've got all the answers. I don't. Honestly, I don't. But I've got one answer for you about light. Okay, you understand light. Well, this is a 1-inch lens, and I know perspective works that all lines converge from a one-point perspective, from my eyeball. I know there's a vanishing point, otherwise known as reality. Right there, all lines converge.
All lines.
You know it over and over again. All lines converge, just like in real life.
Yeah, so you're saying once you fix your point of view, because obviously if you keep walking down the tracks never meet.
Okay,
right?
but I have got a vanishing point. This is my
So if you get back somewhere, I agree that perspective kicks in and things get smaller and smaller, and it looks like there's an illusion that they're getting closer and closer to each other. But as you zoom in,
but after the horizon, they diverge.
Okay.
And then I can't see them anymore. This is because my eyeballs are spherical, not the land or the sea I live on, but my eyeballs. The actual path of the sun is straight and direct. It just seems to arc in front of me. So the sun's not actually getting lower. It's staying at exactly the same height as it goes overhead. It's just my perspective. Once I understood this, that perspective ramp goes upwards, that's why I lose a building or a ship in front of me, due to perspective.
Nope.
So once I realised that
it's demonstrable, that's an observation anybody can make.
All right. Let's stop for a moment, and I really do stop for that. Let's stop for a moment right there. I completely agree that as your perspective would make everything proportionally converge towards something is getting in scale smaller. But it doesn't decide all of a sudden that I'm just going to make the bottom half disappear. Everything would be getting smaller, but not deciding randomly, I will just chop this.
No, it's equal.
Right?
It's equal.
Do we agree?
A lot of the time,
We
it's
can
equal.
spend a month on this. there are 50 flat earthers that have done a million experiments regarding just this topic.
Perspective, yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying what I just saw was like perspective plus curvature. It's not just perspective. Perspective alone would be like, yes, it's smaller,
But let me ask you
right?
this,
But it's not just half of
Sir,
it,
if
where
you-
I'm missing the bottom.
if you
That's a different
flipped
thing.
it
Did
up-
anybody ever show you, Spiros, the measurements that VCOR did with the laser across the lakes up to 41 kilometers? Did anybody ever show you that?
This is something that I asked, like, Nathan to send me something. Yeah,
Nathan,
I'll have it, like, I'll have to see that later, not today.
We have a 121 page PDF with 7 different measurements that show that water is non-convex.
We're gonna send it. So if you
We'll send that
Yeah.
if you flip that image upside down,
Yes.
is it gonna look different? You're gonna
What do you mean?
converge. So you're saying that the curvature is still a factor, even though we're having
I mean, you're gonna be losing what? The bottom part of whatever
But
you
if
were
you
supposed
flip
to do.
it upside down, if
But
the
if I
sky
zoom
is
in
on the
right there,
bottom,
that bottom
does the
just comes right
sky,
Can I
would we
interject?
then assume that the sky is curving? Because it looks the same either way.
Can I interject really quick?
Yeah.
Can I interject really quick? And
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't really said it very much.
Yeah.
So, as far as looking at something and saying, I see curvature,
Yes.
we're looking at a computer screen. When you get out in the real world, and you see real world environment, it's not, you can't look at a screen and determine what reality is. We observe reality in the real world. I haven't got a chance to say very much, but as far as the Metabunk, the website, I have been on the website. I've seen the forums. What I have observed in reality, what Karen B has observed in reality, what many flat earthers have observed in reality is contradictory to all the standards and all the requirements that Metabunk has placed on flat earth and spirit. The standards, the mathematical,
standards?
okay, the
models?
the model, the agreement of the mathematical model.
The agreement of
24,000
of R.
Yeah.
Radius.
Yeah. So
I mean, but they just have a model. They don't
with
know.
the
Like,
standard-
like if there is like this, then this is what you're supposed to see and all stuff. Yeah. Sure, yeah.
So the agreed upon model, what we have observed is contradictory to what the model is. So what I'm saying is the only way you can actually really know, you can't really know from watching it. The only way you can actually really know is by getting out and going into the real world and observing it yourself.
Okay.
Because there is many variables that play into seeing curvature. But when I look at that
So
video,
you're saying with your eyes versus like
no, not even that. Just in real time, in the real world, dealing with real variables.
Oh, I completely agree. But I guess what I'm saying is that both with my own eyes, when I look across, like a pond, I see that the bottom half of buildings is gone, right?
But
And also the experiences you've done, they're not with your eyes.
No, they
They're
are
with cameras.
No, they are because
No,
I actually.
because then you cannot show me anything.
No, I actually could. I have photos from my iPhone that have zero zoom on.
I completely agree. I'm just saying, you just said you cannot trust a camera or a video.
Right.
But you can never see through somebody else's eyes. You can see at the same place from another camera, right? So how do I trust one or the other?
Let Nathan.
What I'm saying is.
So you meant like from your exact, but this is still a machine.
What I'm saying is, the best way to understand reality is to observe it yourself.
I completely agree.
And
well,
what I want to emphasize.
Even I'm the one person who's like this structure, yeah.
Because when it comes to trust, the only person I trust to delegate my reality is myself. And I can trust you with my life. I could trust Jai with my life. I could trust you with my children, to watch my children. My level of trust only goes, I could trust you 99.9% of the time.
Yes.
But when it comes to my reality, I cannot trust anyone except for myself and my life.
Okay.
And so the best way to make an informed decision is to see it yourself. And what I want to encourage you to do is to continue to work with us, continue to focus on a goal, or at least start planning a goal, which you suggested. And as we move along in this relationship that we have,
I would like to continue working with you and continue to collaborate. And eventually, my goal would be to actually do an experiment so you could see with your own eyes. So we don't have to debate sources.
You're absolutely right.
And that's,
you're absolutely right.
That's what
but
my
I
goal
will
is
say something though. I will say something. I will actually do this for you guys. I will come out and do one of these, and we'll work together.
That
like
would
the
be
method and everything.
fantastic. We gotta figure out what.
But this goes contradictory to what you just said, because I can tell you what I see, and then you'll be like, but I don't trust you because you're not my eyes. You're not me. We're looking at the same thing, but just the objective reality is different, even though we're
if
close.
our objective reality is different, but then we have a third objective reality, which would be a camera, a photograph.
I completely agree. I don't even have, trust you. I will just say this right now, before we even go out there. If you were to just show me the experiments you've done with your camera, I completely trust you. What we will differ on, most likely, will be the interpretation of what you're saying. Exactly. And then that's where it gets interesting. Right? Because like we are both going to try to find the truth. Right? And the question is, who will be the first one to chicken out? And say like, oh, but I'm not willing to
We're
make that
gonna
up.
both go to the end.
And that's the thing, right?
We are well matched to take this to the very end.
It's a long race. You know, this isn't the short sprint. Like we were running a long race.
Yeah.
And there's a long distance that has to be traveled.
Okay. Can you get us in the vacuum chamber, JBL?
I don't want to, because you will die and explode.
All I want to see, man. Okay.
I will be, you know what? I'm not even joking. I will try to make this happen also for myself, because I told you honestly, I've never been to JPL and all that stuff. But I want to do a tour.
Yeah.
Tour. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
good tour.
Okay, let her say goodbye.
I want to see a jet engine or some kind of propulsion system work in a vacuum.
Yes.
That's all I want to see, man.
That is what.
I'm like, this much closer to space.
This is what convinced me space is fake. Is that I know you can't propel in a vacuum.
But
There's nothing to push against.
they're not.
There's nothing to push against. There's nothing to push against in a vacuum.
That is not what is going on.
Well,
They're pushing, like, think about it like
what they're
this
pushing
way,
their
right?
own propellers.
It is an internal like thing.
I
Okay,
understand
there is
how-
like, you imagine there is a threshold, and then you're pushing away from it. You're making that explode.
Can you hold
right?
a ladder
Just
in
like
the air and then walk up the ladder?
No. That's not what's happening here, right? It is like you're separating. You're creating a conservation of momentum phenomenon, where one of them is going this way and the other one is pushing that way.
I want to see a
Right?
spaceman walk up a ladder that's floating in
So, wait, just want to say before I'm still on this.
So thankful for you coming.
Thank you, Spiros.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you so much. We had a lot of technical challenges tonight. Thank you so much for everybody for being here.
I've got 6 pictures left. 6
Thank
pictures.
you. Somebody please send Spiros the link to the FECOR experiment, please.
Okay, we'll make sure that Spiros gets all the links. I think everybody's just hot right now, and they need to just get out of the room because they've got lighting on in there, and it's probably uncomfortable.